All right. Let's try this one more time, man. I messed up a little bit, but it's all right. Players mess up too, man. I went live. I thought I didn't have my thumbnail up. I had my thumbnail up. I had stopped it real quick because I'm like, oh damn, I ain't got the thumbnail up. So let me see if I can erase this other one, man. But it's a lot going on right now, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's today is Tuesday, right? It's been a few days since I've been live, but as y'all know, I do be trying to, bring y'all good content. I try not to. Let me see, live now. I'm gonna erase this one so that way people don't get confused. Um, there we go. All right, so I try to bring y'all good content, dope content. I try not to overdo it. You know what I mean? Even though I'm trying to grow the platform, grow the channel, I try not to, go live when it necessarily ain't a lot to talk about, or like just like going live just for the hell of it, going live. That just ain't what I'm into. Cause I'm not gonna give y'all a good stream. I know I'm not. My energy ain't gonna be there. If I ain't really got nothing to talk about that I want to talk about or that I feel like needs to be talked about, I just ain't gonna have the energy for it. And that's just me. That's just who I am. You feel what I'm saying? So it's Tuesday. I ain't been live in a few days. I've been working. I've been trying to get this money together. YouTube ain't paying the bills right now, so um, I'm just trying to do my thing, as far as that go. And I'm trying to send text messages back. Man, I just be having so much going on, man. Like I don't know about y'all, and I'm gonna get into this story for in a second. But sometimes I just be needing like everybody to leave me the hell alone. Let me do what it is that I want to do for a minute. Like I just need my own space, my own time. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like I feel like I be getting sometimes I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I just feel like I be getting pulled in every direction. You know what I mean? And I go with the flow for a while, but at some point, man, I just kind of need to be in my own little zone right now. Like I've been trying to get prepared for this stream all morning, or since I woke up, man. And it's like since I woke up, I've been having like somebody, uh, I had to go here. You know what I mean? I had to go there. I had to do this. I had to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to wake up from working like damn near 16 hours straight yesterday. Like I just needed a little me time. Let me get up on my stream and do my thing for my people. You feel me? Let me talk to the ruler gangs, the rulers and the roulettes real quick. You feel what I'm saying, man? Let me do my thing. Yeah. Oh, damn. All right. So what's up? What's up? Yep. Good content, not rabbit holes. What's going on? LB on point. What's up, Leonard? What's going on? Come to support the channel. I appreciate the support. Here's a topic that Yahoo's house being drone. Damn. Yeah, we're gonna have to get into that. Let me write that down, man. I ain't even know that. There's so much going on over there in Israel, man, right now. Yeah, get in that zone. Right. Yeah, I just got to get in my zone, man. Let me do my thing, right? You know what I mean? I got to see what's going on with the rulers and the roulettes. Like I got a whole community of people that I want to chop it up with today. So let me chop it up with my people, the ruler gang, right? All right. Anyway, though, so I woke up and a lot of people been talking about this Diddy situation. They bring up R. Kelly and they bring up Bill Cosby. Even some people even go back as far enough as to bring back, and that's a good question, is Diddy snitching? Listen, right. So when they bring those names up, a lot of times people bring those names up and they say that, the feds or the law enforcement or just the powers that be target people who are black. more so than they target people who are from other communities, right? And I agree, right? I agree with that. So when I ain't gonna lie, when I seen this, or I seen the Harvey Weinstein, or I seen like some of the other situations, I was kind of like, okay, well, they going after their own right now, right? But I need to just take my watch off too, I guess. But with that being said, former Abercombie and Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries was arrested on SEX trafficking charges. Now, I would like to point out that people in the chat are actually saying some of the things that I was thinking as well. Is Diddy snitching? Because what this CEO and his friends or co-defendants at this particular time are all thinking or saying is, like they're saying, it sounds so similar to what was going on or what's going on in the Diddy case. So in the Diddy case, and I'm gonna be real brief because we're gonna get into like the press conference with this real quick. There's talks about these parties that are being had. Of course, there's SEX trafficking going on as well, but they're also talking about these parties that are being had in the Diddy case and in this particular situation. Now, he was arrested in West Palm Beach with two other associates, and from what I was thinking, I'm like, well, damn. It's a lot of freaky stuff that be going on down in Florida. Like, I just thought about that. And then I thought about Diddy living in Florida, right? And a lot of these people who have been accused, charged, and no longer here because they took themselves out are frequent down in Florida, which is crazy. Now, in this particular situation, at this particular time, it's said that 12 men described attending an accused of attending or organizing events that included SEX acts for Jeffries and his partner Matthew Smith. And those events took place from 2009 to 2015. Somebody said they was just in Florida. Be safe down there. You might end up in a freak off. I'm just saying. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna pull them phone calls up too. I ain't heard them. I'm gonna have to. It says some of the men who spoke to BBC says, that's crazy. Pause. When you say BBC, you gotta pause if you're a man. Some of the men who spoke to BBC said they were exploited or didn't participate willingly. So here we go again. People saying that they were exploited. People saying that they did not participate willingly, right? Now let's get to the press conference. And somebody says that they just watched the U.S. Attorney live and they ain't say nothing about Diddy connection, but why would the Eastern District divulge that anyway? They said it's about goings-ons in New York. I believe that there's a connection, but let's get it. Let's hear what they have to say.
District of New York. Thank you all for joining us today. With me today are James Dennehy, Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's New York Field Office. We have Deputy Chief Carlos Ortiz, Commanding Officer of the NYPD's Special Victims Unit. And we have my office's outstanding prosecution team, Aaron Reed, Megan Farrell, and Philip Pilmar. We're here today to announce the arrest and charging of 3 defendants. Former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, Michael Jeffries, Matthew Smith, and James Jacobson on charges of sex trafficking and engaging in interstate prostitution. Powerful individuals for too long have trafficked and abused for their own sexual pleasure young people with few resources and a dream of securing a successful career in fashion or entertainment.
All right, I'm sorry, because I'm going to kind of like pause and stuff like this as we listen to this. But something he just said was interesting, and that's why I just want to kind of pause on it real quick. We hear this way too often. We heard this in the Bill Cosby situation. We heard this in the R. Kelly situation sometimes. And we heard this in the Diddy situation. Now we're hearing it in this, where people are actually saying that the reason why they were allowed to be exploited, the reason why they were subject to being done wrong by these individuals who have been accused of all of this, is because they were promised some type of fame. How long are how long are people going to allow people to do this type of stuff to them though? Like you didn't see the last case where the last person said that somebody told them that they had to like suck some peen to be a to be a star, and it didn't happen. Come on, man. Like how gullible can we be, man? I don't know. People stupid to me. I'm gonna be real.
To anyone who thinks they can exploit and coerce others by using the so-called casting couch system, this case should serve as a warning. Prepare to trade that couch for a bed in federal prison.
Damn.
The message from today's prosecution is clear. Sexually exploiting vulnerable human beings is a crime, and doing so by dangling dreams of a future in fashion or modeling or any other business is no different.
Who's letting people still do this to them though? Even in 2009, like, I mean, you done had decades upon decades of people promising people stuff that didn't get it, that was exploited to give up that box. Let somebody clap them cheeks. You feel what I'm saying?
Office and our law enforcement partners will always prioritize standing up for victims, no matter their gender and no matter how powerful the wrongdoers think they are. We will hold them to account. As we allege in the indictment, between 1992 and 2014, Michael Jeffries was the chief executive officer of Abercrombie and Fitch. Abercrombie was a widely known clothing retailer with stores around the world. Aspiring fashion models knew that a place on one of Abercrombie's iconic ads could be the ticket to success in the modeling industry. But while Jeffries was the CEO of one of the most recognizable clothing retailers in the world, he was using his power, his wealth, and his influence to traffic men for his own sexual pleasure.
All right, so let me stop this. Let me stop right here. So when they talk about people being trafficked, right? Okay, so if I'm paying for something, like it's independent people who sell themselves, who sell their bodies, that you can contact and you can have them come do whatever you want them to do, right? So let's just say hypothetically, I want to call a girl and I got her number. She provides a service. I pay her. I'm a big stature, right? I may call multiple girls over a course of time, years, right? The feds is on me. They see that I'm paying for these girls, right? I go to jail. Like, what about the person who actually is selling themselves? The person who is selling themselves don't go to jail too? Like, I'm having a hard time. Like, I've always had a hard time with this because, like, say for instance, even when I was in the dope game, like, it was always funny to me, like, when I see like the person who bought the dope testifying again, like, okay, but we all involved in this. So if I'm buying cheeks, you know what I mean? If I'm buying women, feel what I'm saying, for the purpose of pleasure, and they're selling themselves and they're conducting a business. This is their business. This is how they live. This is how they get their money. Why am I charged and they're not charged? Because you knew I was buying it from them. I ain't snitching. I'm just saying, like, I'm just asking the question. You know that I was paying for this woman or these women. You know that they have, so the women who have sold themselves get to continue or carry on business as usual, while the rich, successful man or the men who ain't even rich and successful gets charged with XEX trafficking and goes to federal prison. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I gave her 40. I don't know. I'm just saying. Like, I ain't saying she doing it for the 40, but I gave her whatever she paid. Whatever it was fair exchange. She came. I gave her money. She performed. She left. I went about my way. Bam. Another girl. Paid, come perform, went about her way. Bam. Another girl come. Next thing I know, I got 10 or 12 counts of SES trafficking because now the feds have been on me, got my phone tapped. They see me texting them, talking about all this nasty, freaky stuff I want to do to them. You feel what I'm saying? And they're still running the goddamn business. See, and I get somebody in the chat said third-party assistance and knowledge. Correct. Because what they're doing is, it's kind of like entrapment to me. They're allowing the girl to keep doing stuff and keep, as long as they're telling and cooperating, they're going to be allowed to keep doing whatever they want to do. You feel what I'm saying? But the men who are doing this, or even the women, let's just say even if women get charged with this, the person who's paying for the actual performance, so to speak, goes to federal prison for damn near the rest of his life. I don't know if y'all looked at it, but these charges carry like life or damn near the rest of your life, 50 years, 20 some years. Like, people getting caught up for this stuff ain't getting like it's just a slap on the wrist.
And that of his romantic partner, Matthew Smith. The charging documents describe in graphic and disturbing detail the violent and exploitive acts these defendants perpetrated, for which they will now face justice in a court here in the Eastern District of New York. So here's
okay, and that's strange. We talked about the Diddy situation. I'm a quick pause. I'm gonna let y'all get a full listen to it, but keep in mind it's in the Eastern District of New York, the same place that Diddy found himself in trouble for the same thing.
What's alleged in the indictment. Jeffries and Smith employed James Jacobson to act as a recruiter to find men. Jacobson engaged in, quote, tryouts with men across the world where he would typically pay them to engage in sex acts with him. Following the tryouts with Jacobson, Smith would often then personally approve whether the men who were selected would meet Jeffries and Smith.
So they knew why they was there. Okay.
The defendants would fly the selected
I'm not defending this at all. I'm just like listening to what's being said, man.
men to Jeffries and Smith's homes in the Hamptons in New York City, or to hotels around the world in such places as England, France, Italy, Morocco, and St. Bart's for the purpose of attending events to engage in commercial sex.
Oh, they took their freak offs international.
But beyond simply hiring men for sex, Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson used force, fraud, and coercion to traffic those men for their own sexual gratification. For example, as alleged, the defendants employed a referral system and an interview process that did not inform the men of the details of the sex events before they attended, including the full extent and nature of the sexual activity that would be required of the men at these events.
So you saying that basically they knew that they were showing up for sex, they just didn't know how nasty the freak off was gonna be. I get it, okay.
They caused the men to believe that attending these sex events could yield modeling opportunities with Abercombie or otherwise benefit their careers. Smith and Jeffries employed a secret staff to operate these sex events. The staff ensured that the men signed non-disclosure agreements and handed over their personal items, such as their phones, before the start of the events to maintain the secrecy of these events. The defendants caused the men to believe that not complying with requests for certain acts, sex acts, during the events could harm their careers. The defendants pressured the men to consume alcohol, Viagra, and muscle relaxants known as poppers during the sex events.
Here we go with the drugs again. Like all these, listen, just know if you show up at a freak off, there's definitely going to be drugs there. So if you like getting high, you'll definitely be able to fulfill that desire as well as any other nasty, things that you would like to partake in, such as, I don't know, they're giving people Viagra and honey packs and baby oil and
And they required the presence of staff during the sexual activity and ensured that the men did not leave the sex events until Jeffries and Smith decided that the sessions were over. Also, as alleged, on more than one occasion, Jeffries and Smith either directed others to inject or personally injected men with an erection-inducing substance for the purpose of causing the men to engage in sex acts the men were incapable of engaging in or unwilling to engage in.
So, so were you like held down? Like, did they have like so when I be hearing about stuff like this, I imagine like a room with a whole bunch of individuals in it that's going to hold me down and force me to do this type of stuff. Like, I don't know, like maybe I'm just different. Like, you ain't about to make me do shit that I don't want to do. But apparently, according to him, these men had to receive injections so they could be, you know what I mean? So they can perform multiple acts throughout the duration of this event. This is crazy.
Additionally, the indictment alleges on more than one occasion when men did not or could not consent, Jeffries and Smith violated the bodily integrity of these men.
Like how?
By subjecting them or continuing to subject them to invasive sexual and violent contact by body parts and other objects.
What?
As alleged in the indictment, Jeffrey, Smith, and Jacobson didn't just carry this activity on for a couple of occasions. Their sex trafficking and prostitution enterprise lasted at least from the end of 2008 until early 2015.
Damn.
During that period, the defendants hired dozens of men and transported them to New York and around the globe. They spent millions of dollars on a massive infrastructure to support this operation.
They spent, now I wonder how much money Diddy was spending like for his infrastructure. They were spending millions on like just to get like for these men to get some booty. They were spending millions of dollars to keep doing this. Like, to me, it just seems crazy because like you got people that's willing to like do it. Like, it's men who you can pay to like come, spend a weekend with me. We seen Kanye. Dang, I forgot to write that down. We seen Kanye with a worker. You know what I mean? He was frolicking around with them. Like, and it was backed up by pictures as well as what was said in that lawsuit against him. But I'm just saying, you got people who willing to do this type of stuff. Like, why y'all spending $1 million though?
And maintain its secrecy. This included hundreds, thousands of dollars of cash for commercial sex.
Cash?
Prolific amounts of money for staff to run the sex events. Money for domestic travel, international travel, hotel rooms, services from a security company, and Jacobson's salary, among other things. Now, this investigation remains ongoing. Although there are 15 John Does identified as victims in this indictment, this interstate prostitution venture encompassed dozens and dozens of men.
Damn.
And I encourage anyone with information about this case, including anyone who was a victim of the defendant's alleged crimes, to contact the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI.
I'm laughing at the phone number, man.
Now, I want to thank the victims who have already come forward for sharing their stories. Prosecutions like this are really impossible without the bravery of victims who are willing to report what happened to them to law enforcement.
Man, Cat Williams said a bunch of stuff on the Club Shay Shay interview. I took the good and threw the West. What they say? Eat the meat or pause. Jesus, whatever. Throw the bones. Everything you say now is lightweight suspect. Anyway, he said that this was gonna be the year that people get exposed, man. And like it been a whole lot of exposing going on all damn year. I ain't gonna
This
lie.
office, the Department of Justice, and its law enforcement partners will continue to work tirelessly to protect victims from powerful individuals who use their wealth and their influence to exploit and harm others for sexual gratification. In addition to my team, I'd like to give special thanks to FBI Special Agent Amanda Young and NYPD Detectives Paul Byrne and Antonio Pagan, who have worked hard on this investigation in the pursuit of justice.
All right.
I'll now turn it over to FBI Assistant Director in Charge, Diddy.
Thank you, Breon. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Dennehy, Assistant Director in Charge of the FBI's New York Field Office. Today's indictment highlights the abhorrent behavior of Michael Jeffries, Matthew Smith, and James Jacobson. What's alleged in the indictment is not only beyond disturbing, dishonorable, and disgraceful, but simply put, it's criminal. In short, these individuals are charged with running a prostitution and international sex trafficking business using a combination of force, fraud, and coercion to induce victims into participating in their illegal operations. The alleged behavior occurred here in New York City and in multiple countries worldwide. The defendants allegedly preyed on the hopes and dreams of their victims by exploiting, abusing, and silencing them to fulfill their own desires with insidious secret intentions. Despite the alleged efforts of Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson to conceal their crimes, efforts that included threatening victims and requiring them to sign non-disclosure agreements, among other things, their plan failed. This case is yet another example of individuals using their wealth, power, or reputation to manipulate and control others for their own personal interests. I'd like to speak for a second to the victims in this case and others, both those who have come forward and those we believe are still out there. The FBI and our partners make it our mission to prioritize those who have been victimized by sexual predators. We know victims come from all walks of life. There are neighbors, our friends, and members
He ain't talking about too much of nothing. Hold on.
to investigating and bringing these cases forward. Team specialists available to provide the necessary call FBI or online. U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Breon Peace, and the members.
He wasn't talking about that.
Hello, my name is Deputy Chief Carlos Ortiz. I am the commanding officer of the NYPD Special. Work is able to bring some sense of dignity back to these survivors.
And tell their stories that happen.
The indictment says that this alleged conduct ended in 2015. Why did it take nearly a decade for you to come to this moment?
Because Diddy came. All right, so y'all ain't gonna be able to really hear them questions, and y'all want to hear the question part, man.
Did it just suddenly stop? in 2015?
All right, we cool on the question part, man. I think we heard enough. All right, hit that like button. Yeah, hit that like button. So, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I really don't care about this particular situation. I'm really more into like what's going on with the Diddy situation. But I'm not surprised that these charges were brought against this CEO, right? Or former CEO. Do I feel like Diddy's case has something to do with this? Yeah. And maybe I should let him play, because they asked him why did it take more than a decade for them to come out with these charges against this individual. So let me just play what his answer is real quick.
And then if you would also say a word about the intersection of the civil lawsuits with this criminal prosecution.
Yeah, so, these prosecutions really depend, as I said earlier, on the bravery of the victims to come forward and tell their stories. That happened in this case. Once that happened, our team and our law enforcement partners investigated this case thoroughly and quickly, and we're now arriving at this day when we're charging the conduct. So I say to all victims, we're here, we will listen.
All right, so he really didn't answer the question he didn't answer the way that I wanted to answer. But anyway, I feel like this, though. I do feel like Diddy's case has something to do with this. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody within the Diddy camp who may be being pressed by law enforcement to reveal information, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave up the information to help with this case. Ultimately, though, just like with all the lawsuits we seeing against Diddy and people coming out the woodwork, it's just like a domino effect at this particular point. This ain't going to be the last case we've seen. Y'all remember how it was during the Me Too movement where people was just coming out left and right saying that people was doing certain things to them, right? So I'm not surprised at that. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all wanted me to play the rest of this. It's like 10 minutes or something left for this, like this question and answer part. If y'all want me to keep playing that, I will. If not, I'm really thinking about going towards the next topic because we got some more stuff we want to talk about. But, as far as this goes with this case or whatnot, I do feel like it's connected to the Diddy situation, but I'm not going to go as far right now as just to say like Diddy is snitching, but I can't say that it didn't cross my mind that somebody within the Diddy camp actually is giving up information to the feds on this particular case just because of the circles that people be in, right? All right, so I got guess who's next? Yeah, and I'm wondering if a lot of people saying Jay-Z might be next.
And we will investigate and bring charges where appropriate. The intersection of the civil lawsuits, there really is. Our investigation is based on our investigation, the facts, the evidence we find, and the law. And so the civil lawsuits don't dictate what we do or vice versa.
And do you believe the conduct ended in 2015, or that's just what's chargeable now?
I will say, I think the best way to answer that is say this investigation remains ongoing. We encourage any victims or any witnesses to come forward with additional information. And if there's a need to bring further charges, we, of course, will not hesitate to do that.
I had a question about the events themselves. When they took place, were they like company sanctioned events, or did they at any point happen on company grounds? And about the John Does, were they employed at all by the company? Were they working in stores? Did any of them actually make it to be part of these like advertisements? Or were they just simply brought in for these purposes and then recycled out?
I can't go beyond the allegations in the indictment. We don't have evidence that this happened on company grounds, but I will not go further into who is aware where things happen beyond what is already in the indictment, including with respect to what happened after the events.
And and this is another question I got. If it was so secretive, right, how was they able to get 12 people to come forward and say, like, this is what happened to us? I'm not defending what was going on, like, because it's like definitely totally nothing I would be into or involved in. Like, you know what I mean? Because it was some, you know what I mean, some backdoor action going on, and I don't get down like that. To each his own, right? But at the end of the day, if it was so secretive, if they spent millions of dollars to try to cover this up and built this infrastructure around what they had going on, how was it that you guys just all of a sudden came out of nowhere and was able to get 12 people to actually say like, hey, I was a part of this? Now, as far as like the Diddy connection to this, right? We do know that there are several male SEX or sex workers that claim that they actually were a part of the Diddy freak-offs. So that's what I'm saying. Like when we talk about like, does this have something to do with the Diddy situation? And it's taking place in the Eastern District of New York, where the same people basically are charging this individual who charged Diddy. I mean, it's going to be hard for people to get me to believe that nobody who spoke to law enforcement about the Diddy situation said nothing that led them to bring these charges against these individuals. I believe the two cases is connected.
Hi there, thanks for doing this. Can you tell us how many victims there were in total in indictment system? There were 15 John Does, but how many did you interview?
I can't get into our interview process. We interviewed many, many witnesses. As I said, the team and our law enforcement partners did a very thorough investigation into this activity. We have named 15 John Does, but as I indicated before, there may be other victims out there. We're hoping to hear from folks after this, and we will take action as appropriate.
How did your office first learn about these events and what was happening?
I think we became aware through media reports, which is not uncommon. When you have media that reports on stories that relate to crimes, alleged crimes, we follow up and do our diligence.
So, with that being said, y'all better watch what y'all be putting on social media or the YouTube. Keefy D. Somebody said, all jokes aside, this is probably the biggest case ever. As far as like Diddy, this is probably the biggest case ever. They said it involves even Tupac, possibly Biggie's murders. Is insane, which is true. I'm telling you, all this stuff is connected. Like, all like sometimes all it takes is one case for you to build like 3, 4, 5 cases against like several different people. That one case, the people involved in that case, they don't want to get in trouble. I'm pretty sure the workers in the Diddy situation were saying, hey, if you don't cooperate, you're going to jail too. We're going to charge you with complicity. Do you want to do the rest of your life in jail? No, well, tell us everything that you know and we won't charge you. Okay, bam. This is what I did with Diddy. But also, I got something even bigger than that. This is what I was doing with the former CEO of Abercombie and Fitch. And you know what? I know several people who actually was involved in that, and I can give you their numbers as well. Bam. They make a phone call. Now you can call about 12 different people. Now we got a case against them because ain't no way in hell that they've sat on this case all this time and they just charged them. Keep in mind, the only reason why Diddy is charged right now is because Cassie came out with the lawsuit and they followed up on that information and began interviewing Cassie and Little Rod and them. That's just my opinion.
Thank you for doing this, Darrell Miles, WABC. 2 questions. I think I want to clarify a little bit on Mark Morales' point. Does the indictment allege that the resources of Abercrombie and Fitch were involved in the furtherance of this sex trafficking, where the company itself would have any liability? And then secondly, generally, just from a sex victims and sexual violence and the investigatory standpoint, we have this situation, these scenarios that are now victims are coming more forward publicly about power, control, manipulation of those who have aspirations. You have the Sean Combs case, you have this case. Are we finding that there are going to be more widespread investigations with regard to officials in power exploiting and manipulating people? Do we see like a trend happening where more victims are coming forward? So it's a twofold thing.
Yeah, so in the first question, we don't allege in the indictment that the resources of Abercrombie and Fitch were used in furtherance of this criminal activity. But what we do allege and acknowledge is that the fact that Michael Jeffries was CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch was utilized, and the potential of an opportunity at Abercrombie to be in an ad or things like that were some of the carrots that I think people perceived as what they would achieve by participating in this activity. On your second
You would think that if he said that they used millions of dollars to actually build this infrastructure, they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash to actually pay the workers to come perform and buy drugs or whatever else they was doing, you would think that they probably did use some of the Abercrombie and Fitch money. Abercrombie and Fitch possibly got some of the best lawyers out ever, wherever they at. And they're going to keep their name clear of all of this. Just as the Universal Music Groups and all of those people are actually going to be able to wiggle their way out of those allegations. A lot of people keep saying Lucian Grange in the Diddy case. If he ever ends up getting in any trouble, I would seriously be shocked. I ain't gonna lie to y'all.
question, I don't know if I could say it's a trend one way or the other. I'm hopeful that to the extent there are victims out there who have been subjected to trafficking activity, abuse, exploitation, that they would be confident enough in their federal and state law enforcement partners to come forward. As I said before, we listen, we investigate, we take action, and we will not hesitate to bring charges. In this office in particular, and my civil rights team, I think you know, we have a track record of bringing cases with respect to people in power who have taken advantage of and abused others. We prosecuted R. Kelly. We brought the NXIVM case. We don't hesitate to hold the powerful and the wealthy to account if they have violated.
So basically, he just said, like, hey, nigga, we known for going after the R. Kellys. We known for bringing the people out here doing this down. Like, we accept the challenge. Soon as we hear about somebody doing some nasty shit, we own it. We're going to investigate. We're going to get people to snitch. We're going to get people to tell. And we're going to bring that goddamn indictment.
Federal criminal laws.
And just to clarify, when I say a trend from the power, you may have just clarified that, but with regard to, you know, how widespread and pervasive it seems to be becoming externally facing with regard to those in power control, manipulating and exploiting people. Are you finding that your investigations are leveling off, or are they consistent, or are we finding that you are investigating more cases of this in this space?
As I said before, I think we stand ready to investigate any criminal conduct, whether it relates to rich and powerful or not so rich and powerful. If sex trafficking laws, interstate prosecution laws, etc., are violated, we stand ready to investigate and bring charges as appropriate.
What more can you say about the victims allegedly being recruited as heterosexual men to engage in non-heterosexual acts? And also, can you elaborate more on why this happened?
So I don't know if y'all can hear him, but he asks, basically, was heterosexual men involved with non-heterosexual acts as well in this particular situation?
Well, I think I'll take the second part first. I mean, venue is driven by the activity, as I mentioned earlier, and as alleged in the indictment. Much of this activity happened in New York, in the Hamptons in particular, which is a part of the Eastern District of New York. We have JFK International Airport, and travel comes to and through JFK, etc. So that's sort of the reason in part that we are bringing this case, among other reasons. There are victims here, etc. There's really nothing more beyond the indictment that I can discuss regarding why the choice was for heterosexual men, et cetera. I think I'm limited to what's there.
Mr. Priest,
Yeah.
2 points of clarification. One, when you said media reports, did you mean media reports in 2013? I'm sorry, 2023 last year?
I think, is that? Yes.
And then these.
So apparently it was a media report that came out last year about some of these things that was going on, which might have started the investigation. That's basically what the person asked him. What's going on with you, Flower Bloom?
15 people who bravely came forward, had any of them had previously complained to law enforcement, for example, local law enforcement?
I can't comment on that. Any other questions? Jonathan?
Sir, on another topic, there's great public interest in this city regarding corruption allegations.
Only going to take questions
City
on this
Hall,
topic. We're not answering any questions on other topics. We said that when the press conference started.
Hold on, what they asked? Hold on. Did they ask about Diddy?
Any other questions? Jonathan?
Sir, on another topic, there's great public interest in this city regarding corruption allegations.
Only going to take questions
City
on
Hall,
this topic. We're not answering any questions on other topics. We said that when the press conference
Oh, they
started.
shut that
Next
shit
question.
down. Whatever he was asking, they
Can you
shut
talk
that
about
down.
What's going to happen next as far as when they're going to be in New York and detention?
Yes, so they will have their initial appearances in courts, Florida and I think Minnesota, and then they will be brought to New York or travel to New York to be arraigned. We're expecting that will happen either at the end of this week or early next week. In terms of detention, we put in a detention memo outlining our position for Matthew Smith. We are seeking detention. In part, because he is a dual citizen of the United.
And that's exactly what I was about to see. I want to see how they treat these white men compared to how they treating Diddy as far as bond. I want to see if they're able to get bond, because if they get bond, then that's gonna create a whole nother storyline. Like, there's gonna be a lot of people talking shit about that.
United States and the UK, the risk of flight are particularly acute with him, and for the other two, we're seeking substantial bail packages. If those aren't met, of
So they're going to give them bail. The other two, they're going to give them bail. The only reason why they're saying that they're not going to get the other dude a bond, or they don't want him to get a bond, is because he's able to go abroad. He's dual citizen. So you mean to tell me these other two individuals that are United States citizens, born here, not dual citizenship, they're going to get they're going to have to pay, but y'all going to let them out. When Diddy was ready to give up a lot of money to get up out of jail. That's crazy.
course, we expect that they would be detained as well. Obviously, those decisions are up to the judges who do the arraignment.
So if I can try on topic, in regards to evidence, you said phones were taken from many of the victims private. Do you have any video on top of or other evidence besides the story of the witnesses that would help you substantiate the argument?
We have substantial evidence. We have travel records, we have financial records, we have testimony of victims and other witnesses. So we think we have a lot of evidence that corroborates the charges in this case.
Last question. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna keep an eye on this particular situation. We're gonna see how it work out, man. Like I said, there's 12 men who described attending these events. The Diddy situation, this situation, it's like, and I've been saying, this is probably like the 5th live stream or 4th live stream in a row that I've said this. The party landscape that these rich individuals have been having is going to change drastically. People aren't not going to party the same way that they used to party before the Diddler ended up going to jail, man. It's going to be totally different. Speaking of Diddy, I got a couple requests to listen to Diddy's jailhouse phone calls. We're going to get into that, but there was a video that came out where they talked about, let me see, Dr. Talks Kim Porter. Because I know a lot of people been saying that, Let me see. Not this one. It was just like not too long ago. A lot of people have been actually accusing Diddy of being the person or being behind Kim Porter's death. Let me see, and I think this is it right here. I watched it. Let's see. Let me check it out. Hold on, y'all.
Want to know?
Get rid of this ad real quick. I know I'm cheap. I didn't get YouTube Premium yet.
Right now, we do have some evidence that Kim Porter may have been poisoned.
Sure that eligible claims are thoroughly presented.
All right.
Visit babyformuladamages.com/sidebar to answer less than 10 questions and check your eligibility in the Sean Combs saga. And with the arrest and indictment of rapper, producer, media mogul Sean Diddy Combs on federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges, there is this renewed interest in all aspects of his life, all the people who tragically died in her Los Angeles home back in November of 2018. Officers reportedly found the 47-year-old unresponsive. She was pronounced dead. Now, initially, an autopsy was performed on Porter the next day, and according to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office, the cause of death was deferred pending additional tests. But then you fast forward to January 2019, and the office then concludes that she died of lobar pneumonia. So the manner of death was listed as natural as opposed to something like homicide. And she'd apparently gone into cardiac arrest. Now, it was reported that she had been battling flu-like symptoms in the days leading up to her death, that there were water bottles, sports drinks, Pedialyte. They were found in her bedroom. Days after her death, Sean Combs commented publicly about Porter's death, writing on Instagram, "For the last 3 days, I've been trying to wake up out of this nightmare, but I haven't. I don't know what I'm going to do without you, baby. I miss you so much. Today I'm going to pay tribute to you. I'm going to try and find the words to explain our unexplainable relationship. We were more than best friends. We were more than soulmates. We were some other S. And I miss you so much. Super black love." Combs would reportedly tell Essence magazine the following year, "One night I was checking on her and she was like, 'Puffy, take care of my babies.' She actually said that to me before she died." Now, he's talked about Porter a lot over the years.
So I remember when Kim Porter passed away, man. It was definitely sad, knowing that, you know, she had children and stuff, and you know, just the whole situation, whatever. It's a sad situation. A lot of people at that time, I don't believe that as many people thought that she actually was poisoned by Diddy as they did after, like, I'll Be Sure began to come out and talk about that. And they're gonna bring I'll Be Sure up in this video too, right? But from the moment that she passed, Diddy did come out and seem to be very hurt at the time. I mean, some people may think that Diddy was like acting, trying to disguise himself as someone that was mourning her loss, although he might have had something to do with it. This is what people may be thinking. But he was very vocal about her passing after she passed away.
For example, in 2023, Combs claimed that Porter was the inspiration behind his Love album, Off the Grid. He even dedicated a song to her. Now, despite all of this, there have been rumors. There have been unsubstantiated rumors about Kim Porter's death, about what actually happened. And remember, this is a couple that first started dating in the 90s. They had an on-again, off-again relationship. They went through a custody battle over Christian, the son that they had together. They reconcile. They have twin daughters together, Delilah Starr, Jesse James. Combs reportedly cheated on Porter, though. They broke up in 2007, but by all accounts, Porter and Combs seemed to remain close, to be on good terms as parents until her death. And by the way, a little side note, Porter was actually mentioned relatively recently in one of the sexual assault lawsuits that was filed against Sean Combs.
What's going on,
This
Global
concerned
Media?
April Lampros. And she claimed that one night in 1996, Combs had forced her and Porter to take ecstasy and have sex with each other as Combs watched and touched himself. And she said afterwards that Combs even invited her to Porter's birthday party. Now, Lampros would also allege that Porter got angry and was resentful of her and helped get her fired from the bar where Lampros was working.
I remember this. I remember reading this lawsuit right here, and I thought it was like way crazy. She like said a lot of this stuff about Kim Porter. You know what I mean? Like, but who knows? I can't say that she's lying. We can only question it, but you know what I mean? We weren't there.
So it was really interesting to hear that. But like I said, there have been theories popping up, particularly on Reddit, about Porter's real cause of death, about whether or not she was killed. And one of those people who seems to believe that there is more to the story is Albie Shore. This is Porter's ex. His real name is Albert Joseph Brown. They shared a son together named Quincy. Well, after Combs' arrest on federal sex crimes charges, Brown posted on Instagram, "In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Mrs. Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire which brings us here today." Ventura, of course, is Combs' ex-girlfriend who filed that initial sexual assault, sex trafficking lawsuit against Sean Combs last year.
All right, so I'll be sure, man. I'll be sure then came out and said a lot of different stuff about Diddy. Ironically, though, and I mean, we could say it's because of money, but Diddy raised I'll be Sure's son as his own. I'll be Sure's son was around Diddy even while Kim was alive. It's possible, and I'm just saying that just to be like, you know, okay, let's look at it from a different aspect. I'll be sure possibly could have been jealous of the relationship that Diddy and Kim Porter shared, as him, you know, he was the child's father first. He had Kim Porter first. I'll be sure actually had done work with Diddy before Kim Porter. And maybe he felt some type of way because he began to speak all of this after Kim Porter's death. I may be wrong, but I don't remember I'll be sure ever coming out and saying all of this stuff that he's saying about Diddy prior to Kim Porter passing away. So he could just be having a sucker attack. You know what I mean? He might be tender dick. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's one of the people who have been the loudest about Diddy actually has something to do with Kim Porter passing, and then people like Gene Deal began to repeat this rumor.
Spiraled into multiple other lawsuits and arguably spiraled into these charges that he's now facing.
And anybody that wears an earring, hold on. Anybody that wears an earring like that, I wouldn't trust them anyway. So, I mean, that says a lot about Diddy right there. Like, if Diddy's never looked zesty to you, and this is probably the most zestiest picture I've ever seen.
Facing today. And Brown wrote, "I'm writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Miss Kimberly Porter." And he called her death a tragic murder. Now, interestingly, there are reports that Albie Shore has even taken more security measures after asking for an investigation. In fact, he was presented an award at the American Liver Foundation's National Legacy Gala in New York. And in his speech, he says, "We even have Homeland Security in the building. Detective Jackson, good to see you." Not entirely sure what he's talking about, what he's referencing, but considering it was Homeland Security that raided Sean Combs' properties in LA and Miami and collected all that evidence that federal prosecutors are now using in their criminal case against him, interesting comment to make.
Has anybody, I'm going to use this still right here. Is anybody surprised that, like, if Diddy knew that the feds was closing in? Because his attorneys were in communication with the feds this entire time. And I know this ain't really got nothing to do with this, but that picture just like brought this to my mind. And I've been wanting to say this for a while. Am I the only person wondering why the hell Diddy didn't get rid of laptops and videos and hard drives and all that shit that he had in his house? Like, he could have burnt it. Like, your house is big as hell. You could have took a night snorting pink cocaine, chilling with whoever you was chilling with. You and Stevie J could have sat there butt naked in front of a fireplace and burnt all these damn videos and DVDs and hard drives and computers up. Why was this stuff still in his house when they came? I really don't get it. Like, why was it still like ARs in the house with like drilled off serial numbers still in the house when you know that the feds is looking for you? Why did you still have 1,000 bottles of baby oil with possibly GHB or whatever it's called inside of the? Why is all of this? Why was all of this stuff still there when the police came? That's all I want to know. I don't know.
Now, Gene Deal, this is Combs' former bodyguard, spoke on the Art of Deal podcast about this, and he said, "You got to realize."
Well, it's not the Art of Deal podcast; it's the Art of Dialogue podcast. But
man, Kim's death wasn't even investigated. He went on to say, "How is it that there was no electronic products or gadgets around Kim? Be her laptop missing, her cell phones missing, everything is missing that she could get in touch with her little girls if they're not at home, or her friends or family. All that's missing. How is it that? All that's missing. How is it that?" The detectives didn't even examine Porter's body where she passed away. And Deal emphasized, if that is true, that case needs to be reopened. And
okay, how does Gene Deal know all of this though? Let me see. Y'all cool. Y'all need to see all of that. How does Gene Deal know that the death wasn't investigated? How does he know that there were no electronic products or gadgets around Kim, like phones, laptops, and stuff like that? How does he know this? Or is Gene Deal just saying something that he heard from Al B. Shore? Like, is this true? See what I'm saying? Because I feel like in all of these cases, there's the truth, but then there's a lot of misinformation being put out there. But I digress. Let's keep going.
And Deal emphasized, if that is true, that case needs to be reopened. And also in regards to the idea that she got a massage right before her death, he also said, who gives somebody a massage when they get pneumonia? Deal also apparently took...
She was doing a lot of stuff before she passed away, but...
issue with the
don't listen to me, listen to
timing
them.
of buying her gold casket. He said, how you order a gold casket 2 months before somebody dies. And he even addressed...
How true is that? How true is that Diddy ordered a gold casket 2 months before she passed away?
I'll be sure beefing up his security. Al ain't no fool. He's smart by getting extra security. Now, with all of this as a backdrop, the last time we talked about Kim Porter on Sidebar is when a book was published on Amazon. It was entitled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. It is allegedly a memoir from Kim Porter herself detailing her relationship with Sean Combs, but it reportedly contains typos, shocking claims. Some are saying even inaccurate statements. In fact, Quincy Brown, Christian, Jesse Delilah Combs, they wrote in a joint statement on Instagram, we have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not. And anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. And by the way, even Combs authorized his attorney, Erica Wolf, to release a statement on his behalf regarding the new book, stating, the Kim Porter memoir is fake. It is also offensive, a shameless attempt to profit from tragedy. Chris Todd has no respect for Miss Porter or her family, who deserve better. Unlike the fabrications in his sickening memoir, it is an established fact that Miss Porter died of natural causes. May she rest in peace. And Al B. Shore reportedly sent a cease and desist letter to Amazon as well. And Chris Todd, by the way,
I think the book was taken off of Amazon. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that interview that he did though? He did an interview with I think he did an interview with the Art of Dialogue too. Did y'all watch that where he was questioned about the book?
He's the author. And when we say memoir, we have to be clear here. There's no information verifying that Porter actually authored these writings or authorized a book to be written by her or anybody else at any point. And even the author really couldn't confirm whether these are actually Porter's words or not, but he seems to believe it's true, claiming that Porter created the information herself on a flash drive, which Todd says she gave to her friends prior to her death. Again, her family, loved ones deny this, but either way, interesting to think about. And I sat down with Chris Todd to talk about this, and this is some of what he had to say.
Through our PIs right now, we do have some evidence that Kim Porter may have been poisoned and murdered. We need to listen to the people that are online, even these online sleuths, the bloggers. A lot of information comes out from this kind of community, and there's talk of toxins being in her system.
This dude is this has got to be the most low down, dirty, scum of the earth individual in this whole entire situation, man. For one, he's spewing a whole bunch of unfounded rhetoric about the Kim Porter and Diddy situation, right? And everything he's saying right now is going to be basically debunked by the individual who actually performed the autopsy, because I used to say autopsy, but it's autopsy. It sounds the same to me. By that person is going to debunk all this stuff. This man right here was just only after a money grab, and he had no respect for Kim Porter, her kids, or her family and friends who actually are mourning and still mourning her death. And I highly doubt if they are happy or pleased that her name is being dragged through the mud over these Diddy allegations.
At first, it was called deferred at first, then it was changed. It's disturbing. It's dark. It's sad. This is an abused woman telling her story. When I first read the whole thing, I only had a couple pages at first. Now, as for the tapes, I've been told that I can have access to the tapes.
What are the tapes? First, start there. What tapes are you talking about?
The big ones.
You're talking about sex tapes.
Yeah, but with very famous people.
Okay, so talk to us about what you were told about the tapes.
That if I pass the test, they trust me, I will be the one to do it.
Who's they?
The sources and the people around the community of Kim and Diddy.
Liar. He's lying, y'all. Yeah, I know a liar when I see one. He's a liar.
And I should tell you that after our interview, Amazon responded to all of this blowback.
They took the damn book down, y'all,
by removing Chris Todd's book from its store.
Good.
So with all of that in mind, let's revisit this, shall we? I want to bring in forensic death investigator from Jacksonville State University, Joseph Scott Morgan, host of the Body Bags podcast.
Let's go.
I encourage everybody to check it out. Who doesn't want to hear the soothing voice of Joseph Scott Morgan for a prolonged period of time? First recording he is doing from his new studio.
It's good to hear that from you, a person so stylish as yourself and with the world's less. But thanks for having me on.
And we had you on months ago talking about this. There have been these kind of interesting developments since we last spoke. First, if you could just tell us again, let's set the stage. Do you have any reason to believe that Kim Porter did not die of lobar pneumonia, and whether Porter could have been poisoned in a way to mimic those symptoms?
Wow, that's a very highly sophisticated premise. I think putting out that she could have been poisoned in some way, certainly something that would be undetectable. What I can tell you is that there was quite a bit of pathology with her autopsy. And, you know, you'd mentioned just a moment.
She actually would, like, when y'all hear what was, she was in bad condition when she passed away. Kim was messed up. Listen to what he about to say.
Ago that she had died of lobar pneumonia. For folks that don't know, just a brief little primer here. Our lungs are comprised of lobes. Okay, so hence lobar pneumonia. The right lung has 3 lobes. The left lung has 2. All right. And the reason you have 2 is on the left is because the heart takes up the space. It kind of overlies the lung on that side. Now, her lungs, just so that I have the numbers right, to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here, her lungs were 850 grams for the left. That's the one with only 2 lobes. And then the right lung was 900 grams. Now, that might not mean much to most of the listening public, but I can tell you this. For a woman in particular, alarm bells kind of go off if you get anything that's like up in the upper 400 range. We're talking
She was
about
over
the weight
double
of these
that.
lungs is desperately heavy. Not only that, but when the lungs were dissected at autopsy, they had this kind of purulent fluid that came out, and it's just kind of a polite way of saying pus. She had an ongoing infection. Now, I've investigated a lot of deaths over the course of my career in New Orleans and Atlanta, and I have yet to work a case where someone was able to introduce an agent into someone's system that wound up causing a pneumonia and leading to their death. However, I think one of my biggest questions is, because this is not something that just happened overnight, Jesse. This is a prolonged event. You had a physician, a house call physician, and that's the way they're termed, apparently, that was coming out to administer treatment to Miss Porter. How in the world this could have been missed, I have no idea.
So, and I talked to somebody about this yesterday. A lot of these stars and a lot of these rich people, they don't go to doctors like we do. And I've been seeing a lot of people do doctors over the phone, which I feel like is crazy as hell anyway. How can somebody prescribe or diagnose you over the phone? But anyway, a lot of these stars depend on these doctors to come to them instead of them going to the doctor's office. And in this particular situation, it seems like there might have been some negligence on part of the physician who was actually coming to see her, because as they're saying, and as it's been said, she wasn't sick just like one night and just like all of a sudden passed away. She was dealing with this cold or so-called pneumonia for a period of time leading up to her passing. And we'll also find out that she was not at home alone at the time of her passing. Come on, man, let's get it. I'm tired of like the conspiracies is cool and all good, man, but you know, we like Diddy got enough stuff on him that's more than likely gonna lock him up. That's pretty truthful. You feel what I'm saying? Like some of the stuff is just made up. Come on.
I have had people that are suffering from medical conditions that are in and of themselves lethal. If particularly pneumonia is very dangerous, and left to go untreated. And when I say untreated, she was given like a Z-Pack, which is kind of a broad spectrum antibiotic, which a lot of people receive. They give her an IV that is kind of vitamin infused, lots of fluid bottles, they said, trying to do electrolyte replacement. But once you get this kind of bacterial infection that's going on, and you get to the point where your lungs are this heavy and you're producing pus at this point in time, I think my big question is, was this neglect? Because, you know, this kind of passive thing that's going on, I don't see anything at this point in time that would indicate that she had some kind of trauma. And if somebody has an indication here, and I'm speaking to those individuals that are insinuating that she was in some way poisoned, my advice is get in contact with the authorities. Let them know this information if you are truly invested in the case.
Again, Jaguar Wright, Gene Deal, and we damn near can put I'll Be Sure all in this damn same conversation. These are the individuals who we've heard claim that Kim was poisoned. But none of these people were even there during the time where Kim was actually struggling with this illness that she was going through. We know damn well Jaguar Wright wasn't there. We know damn well Gene Deal had been got fired and was begging for money from the sideline. And we know that I'll Be Sure was not there, present, or around. But who was there? Who was there when Kim passed away? Let's keep going.
Case relative to solving it, because you can say all kinds of things, but if you have hard scientific evidence that this occurred, then let us know. I also take exception to this idea that's being thrown out there, Jesse, that her death was not investigated. Now,
let's debunk everybody.
I'm you mentioned electronic devices, and that's all fine and good. But when you say her death was not investigated, what precisely is meant by that statement? Because I got to tell you, there are a lot of people out there, cases that happen every single day, Jesse, that the medical examiner never puts their hands on those remains. They're never autopsied. They're probably cases in the best set of circumstances. It'd be preferable.
They cut Kim open. They cut her open. Like, this wasn't. Let me stop.
To do an autopsy. She had an autopsy performed.
She had an autopsy. They cut her body open. This wasn't like. Everything ain't a damn conspiracy, people.
A thorough autopsy. Now, I can't speak to how thoroughly her tissues were examined afterwards, but she had a lot of stuff going on with her systemically that would give you an indication that she had some serious problems going on. And just let me throw this out there to you as well. Her system was not, her metabolism was not working within normal ranges. And one of the reasons, not only were her lungs heavy, but she had a condition that's referred to as pleural effusion. And so just imagine that your lungs placed in your chest, all right, you have your lungs, your heart right there. And normally that space is referred to as the pleural space. Normally that space is just open space. When they opened her chest, she had fluid that poured out of that space. Okay.
Man.
And it was a considerable amount that she had coming out of the pleural area.
This woman was sick, man. Like, I get it. And somebody in the chat said, right, Puff ain't did every single thing. Man, listen, this woman was sick. Like, Diddy was who he was. He was a sexual deviant. He was he put his hands on his women. We know this. He's even admitted to that. I believe that he did have discussions and talks with Keefe D at one point in time about, the Tupac and the Tupac situation. I don't believe that he was actively trying to get that done to Tupac at the time that Tupac got knocked down in Vegas. He possibly did pay Zip, though, the $1 million or whatever. But as far as this Kim Porter situation, she didn't write a book. She didn't write that book. She had nothing to do with that book. And a lot of people say that he took her out because she had threatened her or was about to write a memoir. Kim Porter, I mean, she was a part of the whole revolt situation. Like, at what point do we sit back and we actually examine the people who are out of all the lies that we've caught Gene Deal tell or backtrack on, or come to find out he got this from somebody else or he heard it online from somebody else, but we gonna believe this about the Kim Porter situation. Like, all of these people is online saying some truths of things that they were around, but they also putting a 5 on a 10. Gene Deal, Choke No Joke, Jaguar Wright, I'll Be Sure. All of these people are just, they saying some stuff. Some of the stuff may be true. Some of the stuff they may have heard had been true. But some of the stuff they just repeating stuff that people just made up about this man. Come on, man. Like, Diddy is in jail I believe that Diddy is in jail for a lot of the things that he actually did. Now, are they going to be able to prove it? I don't know. Is anybody else going to go to jail with him? Because they said other people was going to go to jail with R. Kelly. Nobody's in jail but Robert Kelly. But at the end of the day, though, man, this Kim Porter situation is crazy.
They were able to measure it, and it was statistically significant. And what happens is with that process, I talked about how heavy the lungs are if you have a pneumonia that's going on. So not only are you having trouble breathing, if anyone's ever had respiratory distress, or if you've ever had a loved one that has pneumonia, it's a horrible thing, a horrible set of conditions to be in. You combine that with pleural effusion, so you have this fluid that's impacting the lungs' ability or lack thereof to expand and contract. And so she kind of had the double whammy going on there.
Yeah, and I appreciate you not only going into the specifics of what might have happened to her, but also pushing back on the idea that she wasn't investigated, because there was an autopsy. And in fact, according to an autopsy report that was obtained by In Touch, I want to read you what this says. She was given Toradol by intramuscular route and was given intravenous fluids, including saline and vitamins. Ms. Porter called this physician the following day and explained she had no appetite. A nurse visited and gave her more saline solution with vitamins. The next day, she complained to the physician with a streak of blood in her phlegm. She also received a massage. She was watching.
Remember, that was a question about the massage. She got a massage. This is in the report. This is in the report.
Television with people and subsequently went to bed.
She was at the house with people watching TV. She went to bed. She was later found unresponsive at the scene.
She was later found unresponsive and pronounced dead at the scene. And the autopsy revealed fibrinopurulent effusions, infectious fluids in the chest cavities, and pleuretic infection.
That's pleural effusion.
Yep. And there was also evidence of lobar pneumonia infection. It was natural, with nasopharyngeal swabs testing negative for viruses, and post-mortem toxicology results described as unremarkable. This is why you're the expert in this and not me. So that's very consistent with what you said, and you heard the idea of that, like you said, the physician coming over. Why wasn't this detected? There seemed to be red warning signs. The idea of the massage, anything? Again, I know there was questions about the massage, but what do you take away from that portion of the report?
Well, again, this is not, and I would state this plainly.
Let me stop right here. So people mean to tell me they've never been like, you know what, before you get sick, or let's just say before you, like, you might be sick, but you really, like, I don't know, like, my body is aching, I got the chills. You know, babe, can you rub my back? Like, my whole body is just aching. Nobody's ever been sick to the point where their body ached and they just felt like they needed somebody to rub on them. Like a massage is like totally out the question. Like, her body, like, come on, man. Like, listen, she got money. Hell, I ain't gonna have Diddy come over here and rub on me. I'll just pay somebody to come give me a full body massage, because my entire body aches. Even though I'm sick, my body aches. I want to get a massage. Like, is a massage an indicator that, okay, she got a massage? Man, that means she wasn't really sick. No, there's a track record of doctors and nurses showing up to her house prior to the damn masseuse coming to give her a massage. Man, I'm telling you, I done got aches and stuff. My body ached a couple times. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I must be getting sick. My body aching. And next thing I know, I'm coughing or sneezing, or, you know what I mean? I got a little bug or whatever. Come on, man. Stop it.
Under normal circumstances, if a clinician were to observe her and begin to understand.
And I agree with somebody in the chat said she should have been in the hospital, or she probably would have. I agree. If she would have went to the hospital, she possibly would still be here. But she was trying to get treatment at home, because everybody don't like going to the hospital anyway. My dad is like that. I had to force my dad to stay at the hospital a couple months ago. Kind of find out he was suffering from congestive heart failure. Had I let him go home or not talk to him in the stand, he possibly would have lost his life.
Just diagnostically, without having drawn labs, okay, in life, you need to get her in for intensive care. Now, I don't mean she needs to be on the ICU, but she needs to be probably on a med-surg floor in a hospital. And I'm just wondering why didn't that occur in this particular? And I've got one more bit of information for you here relative to the autopsy, which is quite telling, Jesse. Something that I had come across that was really, really striking to me was the fact that not only were her lungs heavy and she had pleural effusion, Jesse, she had a condition called hepatomegalia and splenomegalia, which means, in layman's terms, that both her spleen and her liver were inflamed and weighed more than you would ever expect, particularly when you look at the size of her liver, how big it was. It's striking to get this idea that this is something that was just like an acute event that just like happened like this.
It
This
was
had
over
been
time.
kind of a slow march, because it's one thing to develop a pneumonia and you get bilateral lobar pneumonia and the pussy exudate and all that sort of thing. But how is it explained that her liver gets to this size? And it's a desperately
it's something that happened over time. This wasn't just, an event that happened within a 24-hour period. She had been sick for a while. She had been having this physician come, having nurses come. They're giving her saline. They're giving her stuff, Z-Pass and stuff like that to try to combat whatever type of bug they thought that she had. I'm pretty sure if these physicians are responsible, they may have, and this hasn't been said, they may have suggested that she go to the hospital or whatever. But nowhere in here, man, it sounds like Diddy did anything to her as far as poison goes, man. Like I think that's one of the most craziest things. But let's see if they end up saying something about that. I'm gonna fast forward a little
you're
bit.
not in a position to make those kind of treatment decisions for you. So I would ask again, where was her inner circle at this point in time? Who was doing watch care over her? And you've got a physician coming to the house. Why was she taken in for a chest x-ray? I mean, that's very basic standard stuff when you're thinking about trying to make your way through treatment of a pneumonia, diagnosis of pneumonia. Most of the time, a clinician will have an x-ray, a chest x-ray. I think that most of the people that are hearing this conversation we're having right now, if you've ever had a problem in your chest, particularly pneumonia, they're going to say, we need to get you x-rayed. We want to see how far this extends. And to my knowledge, it didn't happen.
So in other words, we're not saying something nefarious was happening here, but this might have been an underlying condition that was not detected, should have been detected if she had the proper care. Let me ask you this. Since the last time we spoke, and I mentioned this before, this gentleman, Chris Todd, wrote a book. And in the book, again, he claims that he believes this is the long-lost memoir of Kim Porter, where she documents that she was essentially abused by Sean Combs. And as we heard him say, he believes that there could be evidence that she was killed. You heard the blowback regarding him publishing this book. I interviewed him. It was a very interesting, controversial interview. What do you take away from that? Because as we're talking about rumors, we're talking about calls to investigate what happened to her, him publishing this, the sources of how he got this information is interesting. What is just your perspective on it?
Well, I take the view of any investigator. I'd have to try to substantiate that data. If you're telling me that she has been abused, and more so than that, you're telling me that a homicide has been perpetrated, I want the evidence. I want to know what you know. Give me the information. I want to know how you came about it, who this person is that's saying this, and is it a valid source? That's the big thing. Because look, investigators.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to play something else though. I want to show y'all something else, and we're gonna stick with this Diddy situation. Let me see. Was it Hollywood Unlocked, where Busta Rhymes actually made some pretty interesting comments about Diddy. Now the caption, and y'all ain't gonna be able to see it because my big ass head is in the way. But it says basically Busta Rhymes says Diddy's situation is not a hip hop situation. Everybody, and this is what's crazy, everybody needs to mind their damn business until the truth is undisputed. Now they actually wrote, this is what Hollywood Unlocked wrote. It says, leave it up to Busta Rhymes to drop a good word amid all the online chaos. In a recent interview with Extra, the rap veteran urged people to hold off on making judgments about Diddy's legal matters until everything is handled appropriately in court. Busta was asked to weigh in on the topic during the premiere of Venom. All right, so I'm not going to read the rest of it, because we're going to hear him say it. So let's scroll over.
It's beautiful to see that, but we're also seeing a reckoning in hip hop and people that you've come up with in the New York hip hop scene. Just your thoughts on that and just the changes that are happening in the industry, especially when it comes to when we talk about Diddy and, you know, now seeing him going through what he's going through.
I don't think that, number one, I think we need to stop doing the hip hop scene. Like, his situation is not a hip hop situation. And I also would like for everyone to be mindful of the thirst and the urgency and the need to speak on the situation. I think a lot of times people don't realize how insensitive it could be to have opinions on things that you have no understanding of outside of what you're being told. And we do know that propaganda is a real thing, and we also know that the truth is a real thing. I like to wait for the truth before I...
50th anniversary.
All right. So it's more to it than that. Let's go to the next slide. I just want to see what else he said.
Really start to dive into trying to understand, because I think understanding is the absence of confusion. Understanding is the reflection of knowledge and wisdom. The truth is undisputed. I think that we kind of like confuse ourselves, prematurely pass judgment, and we're not realizing how much we can directly and indirectly affect everyone involved with our unwarranted opinions. So with that being said, I'm going to reserve my opinions, and I'm going to wish the best for everyone involved. And I think that we really should take away what I'm saying. The one thing that we should take away from what I'm saying is everybody probably need to mind their damn business until the truth is undisputed. At that point, justice needs to be served accordingly.
Nah, Bus. Listen, I'm not going. Somebody in the comments said, if you attended a Diddy party, just say that. when I'm not gonna just mind my business. Now, I'm not gonna just make assumptions and assume that Diddy did certain stuff. And I pretty, in a way, I feel like he's not talking to like people like myself. He may be talking to people who are coming out, like speaking out and condemning Diddy already, even though he hasn't been convicted of anything. You know what I mean? He just facing charges. He has a indictment. I'ma definitely keep reporting and keep talking about the whole Diddy situation and breaking it down with the ruler gang over here. I don't know about nobody else, you know, Buster. We not about to mind our own business. We about to be all up in Diddy's motherfucking business.
For everyone involved, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about for Diddy. So, you know, really start to dive in there, and I'm gonna mind my business, and hopefully everybody can find it in their hearts to keep their opinions to themselves, and just know that every time you voice an opinion, you might be hurting somebody. Yeah,
and possibly, okay, with that being said, he possibly could be talking about people like 50 Cent. Now, 50 Cent actually spoke about, you know, let me see, him and the Diddy situation. Let me see if it's on this page. All right, that's where he said he took a break from bashing Diddy for a minute to announce he had a $15 million big movie deal. But that's not it. 50 Cent, actually, there was a statement made about 50 Cent and the whole Diddy situation, and I doubt if I can find it. But Diddy actually did come out and speak about it. He said that he was going to keep on. Let me see. Let me just Google. Oh, no. Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. 50 Cent's defend one day ago. Let me see who we want to pull up. People, Billboard. All right, here we go. We'll go to Billboard. So it says, 50 Cent says, latest Sean Diddy Combs criticism is just saying what I've been saying for 10 years. And basically he said in the, it's an understatement. Let me see, blah, blah, blah. I want to get straight to where Diddy talked about. 50 talked about it. In an interview with People, 50-born Curtis Jackson discussed his feelings about Diddy's actions. The 54-year-old mogul was arrested in Manhattan on September 17th and charged with SES trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. That's how we're going to pronounce that. Charges Diddy has pled not guilty to. And he says, look, it seems like I'm doing some extremely outrageous things, but I haven't. It's really just me saying what I've been saying for 10 years. 50 said of his jabs at Combs over the past few months as more details have emerged about Diddy's alleged SES and drug-fueled freak-off parties. Let me see. He said now it's becoming more full-facing in the news with the puffy stuff, but away from that, I'm like, yo, it's just my perspective because I stayed away from that stuff the entire time because that's not my style. 50 has said several times in recent months that he did not attend any freak-offs, confirming in September that he's prepping a documentary about Diddy alleged history of sexual abuse in the upcoming Netflix documentary. Did he say anything else? Nope. So yeah, basically, I feel like Busta Rhymes is possibly talking about people like 50 Cent who actually, have come out and were outspoken about what's been going on with Diddy's situation. Now, in other Diddy news, Diddy's children released another joint statement following shocking new lawsuits this past month. They basically saying the past month has devastated our family. Diddy has a beautiful family, though. All the children and kids and stuff are definitely nice looking kids. I'm not sure their participation in freak offs and stuff like that. I know there's some allegations against like a couple of the sons and stuff. So, but Quincy posted this. He said the past month has devastated our family. Many have judged both him and us because of accusations, conspiracy theories, and false narratives that have spiraled into absurdity on social media. Excuse me. Ate apple. We stand united, supporting you every step of the way. We hold on to the truth, knowing it will prevail, and nothing will break the strength of our family. We miss you and love you, Dad. I mean, like, when they come out and say things like false narratives and stuff, as I can see in this chat on or the comment section of this, people are going to say like things like, when you say false narratives, what about the video of him stomping out Cassie? Is that a false narrative too? Other people are, reverting back to what we just talked about and saying, it scares me. He allegedly took your mom out and tried to do the same to your dad, talking about Quincy, which is I'll Be Sure. I think they're saying that's I'll Be Sure's son. Some people are saying that they're better off saying nothing, or they should support Diddy in silence. People claim that they're too grown to be in this much denial about the things that their father has done. It's kind of hard to say what children should be doing when it comes to their father, though, man. I don't think the girls. I haven't heard like of the girls coming out saying nothing. Most of it has been like the sons actually coming out and defending the father or whatever. But with that being said, there's things that's being said about the sons as well. Let me see if I can find that. Diddy sons. I could do this all day, man. I should just quit my job. So 5 days ago, going back to law and crime, that's going to be our source of this information as well. There are 7 allegations against Diddy's sons, Christian and Justin. Now, Quincy ain't in none of these particular allegations, but let's check this out, y'all, real quick. Let's see what they talking about real quick. Hit that like button, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button, man. We doing pretty good. We rocking out right now. The chat popping. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep going. Come on.
With a string of new civil lawsuits filed against the embattled music icon just this week. But Diddy isn't the only one who's facing some major allegations. 2 of his sons, Justin and Christian Combs, are both name-dropped in several civil suits that list Diddy as a defendant. And the accusations against them are pretty serious, ranging from drugging victims and sexually assaulting them to apparent involvement in a shooting.
All right, so when I hear this and being involved in a lawsuit, I have to ask the question, were the sons actually present at these freak-offs with the how old is Justin and Christian Combs though? Let me see that. Justin Combs age. Oh, he 30. Oh, he grown. How old is Christian then? If he 30, Christian is 26. All right, Justin
We're breaking
grown.
down all the allegations against both sons and speaking with former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani about whether they could face criminal charges. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this is Law and Crime News.
Right,
the allegations against 54-year-old Sean Diddy Combs have dominated Brooklyn, held on some pretty severe hearing conspiracy, sex trafficking. By now, you're familiar with sex trafficking. There are thousands of people. There are more than a dozen civil suits already filed. So all this with prostitutes as he touched himself. He called these situations freak-offs, and oftentimes he recorded them. Here's where some of the allegations against his son Justin Combs come in. So all this takes us back to February, when Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod, filed civil suit against Diddy. In his lengthy lawsuit, Lil Rod straight name drops Justin Combs, describing him as someone who solicits prostitutes, underage girls, and sex workers. There's actually a picture of Justin Combs with an allegedly underage girl shown in the lawsuit.
Now that was crazy. Like, Lil Rod's lawsuit is nuts because he actually, I mean, even though I'm not going to say like I believe everything that Lil Rod said, he actually provided pictures in his damn lawsuit, man. I thought that was like way crazy. Like I don't think I've ever seen a lawsuit that detailed certain things and events with actual pictures.
Now, in this specific instance, Lil Rod alleges at least one underage girl came to Diddy's home for a listening party.
What's good with you,
A sex worker was
James
also
Hudson?
apparently
You already
solicited,
know.
and a freak-off ensued. As an aside, this is the same night that Lil Rod alleges Diddy forced him to take a laced shot. He started to feel lightheaded and then woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, naked next to a sex worker.
Okay, so this is another question I want to ask. Since it's I'm sorry, I know people like, let's just play the damn content. But speaking about the pictures, who actually took these pictures? Like, did Lil Rod have somebody at these events actually taking the pictures? These are questions I want to ask. You know what I mean? And maybe people got the answers to them. Like, has anybody ever thought about that? Like, okay, if this is a lawsuit and he's alleging that Diddy did these things to him, who was taking the pictures though? Who would take these pictures to know like this stuff was about to happen? Because these pictures weren't posted nowhere on social media to my knowledge.
It's important to note Justin Combs is listed as a defendant on this case because, according to Lil Rod, he facilitated Diddy's alleged RICO enterprise and at times participated. Okay, I know you're multitasking when you're watching our videos,
All
but
right.
if you're out and about running errands,
We're going to fast forward this a little bit because we ain't got time for that. All right, that look a little weird. I don't want my son massaging me.
on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Lil Rod's civil suit points to more accusations against Justin Combs, too, for his involvement in an alleged shooting cover-up. According to court documents, it happened on September 12th, 2020.
Yeah, why? Those are video still shots. Okay, bless Angel. Even if they're still shots, right? And you may be able to explain this to me. Somebody in the chat said those videos are still shots. Okay, even if that's the case, how was Little Rod able to get the video? Like, who gave him the video to add this stuff to his lawsuit? That's still a question for me. Like, I'm still trying to figure that out. Because, again, these videos weren't posted on social media. So how was he able to get his hands on this to put this stuff in his lawsuit?
22 outside Diddy's Chalice Studios. Lil Rod says Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend who went by G were all there when things got heated. Lil Rod says he heard multiple gunshots ring out and later found G on the bathroom floor in the fetal position. Lil Rod says he was bleeding out of his hip and leg area. Lil Rod says he was applying pressure to G's wounds and then asked the crowd to call an ambulance.
All right, we know about that situation where he allegedly shot somebody or something.
At that point, both Diddy and Justin Combs.
So he was Diddy's producer handling all the audio and video. Okay. I'm glad you said that. So Little Rod was the one in charge of the audio and video at the time, so he would have access to the audio and the video, right? All right, cool. So is it far-fetched to say that since he had the audio and the video, it was easy for him to come up with a lot of different lies and have these videos to insinuate this was the night that they tried to do this to me. This is the night that they did this. This is the night that they did that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it would be easier for me if I have, like, I got my own people recording and filming this stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Like, his lawsuit been lightweight questionable to me.
Disappeared to another part of the studio. Diddy then gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. So that specific allegation involves Diddy's son Justin, but another allegation and entirely separate civil lawsuit involves his other son Christian, or King Combs. Grace Omar K alleges that Christian Combs sexually assaulted her on a yacht in December 2022, and she says it was facilitated by Diddy. Diddy had rented the yacht around Christmas time, and Omar K says it was a revolving door of high-profile celebrities and sex workers who were often passed out on the ship's deck. The law.
So Diddy was hiring workers to come and like perform at his son's parties as well. Like, you my son, boy. Like, I mean, I done heard of people like taking their sons to like the strip club when they turn 18 or 21 or something like that. I guess this is just like on a bigger level of that. Somebody with a bunch of money that's like produced very high quality freak offs in the past, and that's your dad. So, you know, we're gonna rent this yacht out, and then we're gonna have these girls come, and you're gonna do your thing, son. And we ain't gonna have a bunch of baby oil at your party, but we're gonna have a little bit of baby oil. I guess you ain't into the other stuff I'm into, but I'm gonna have the girls come. We ain't gonna have no men there for you. We just gonna have girls. I'm guessing that's what Little Rod is saying took place.
The lawsuit says there were liquor bottles all over, and it was difficult to distinguish which ones were laced with drugs.
Damn. Like, that's crazy, but go ahead.
Omar K alleges that on December 28, 2022, while working as a yacht deckhand, she was sexually assaulted by a heavily intoxicated Christian Combs, who physically assaulted her and allegedly forced her to perform oral sex on him. Since these suits were filed, both Justin and Christian Combs were seen in federal court at their father's appearance just last week. But could they too face charges? Here's where we bring in former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. So, talking about P. Diddy, I know we're talking about the crazy amount of allegations against him that are pretty shocking just unto themselves. But then there's also both Justin and Christian Combs. Just to start right off the bat, what are you thinking about that, the inclusion of both of Diddy's sons and the accusations against those two?
I think that if we're talking about additional charges and additional defendants, those are probably two of the more likely. And Christian, of course, was the subject of a civil lawsuit where there was a sexual assault allegation naming him directly. So
all right, so that's the dilemma with the Suns right now. Now, and they got 7 allegations against P. Diddy's sons, Christian and Justin, but that was just a little something right there, right? Now, along with that being said, man, somebody said that there was a phone call, and I haven't seen this, so this is the first time I'll be able to watch it. But there's a phone call with Diddy's jail phone call, and everybody's telling me I need to go listen to this. Where is it at though? Listen to Diddy's phone call with his son from jail. 73 questions. Details emerge from his jailhouse phone. Don't nobody just got the phone call though? I gotta. Diddy is a monster. Diddy, dang, they going off on you in the chat, Diddy. It's looking all bad for you. The Ruler Gang don't like you. The Ruler Gang. All right, so let me see. Let me see. Let me play this. I guess this is it. I guess page 6 got it. Let me see. Commercial. Yeah, let me run an ad real quick too while we waiting for that to pop up. All right, let me see. All right.
Lee had a phone call with a source told People magazine that the rapper sharing that the father of 7 is dead. He has 3 minor children, have neither parent over the accusations.
Where the phone?
He's not Diddy. He's dad.
Where's the phone call at though? Do y'all know where the phone call is? Let me see. It's a short right here. I hate that's only like 20. I had to get up. Where's the phone call at? I can't find the phone call, but people are saying that there's a phone call with Diddy. Yeah, I haven't heard it. Let me see if I can go filter to upload date. P. Diddy real link phone call to his son. Okay, let's see. Is this it right here?
Everybody out there quiet as moth. They're all on them. Can you reach out yet? Nah, Pop. You ghosting. You just motherfucker doing. How much I told you to do. But are you listening?
Nah, we gotta go to another video. Maybe this is it.
And nothing entertain, nothing you'll listen. Pop, what up? Are you listening? Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Make sure.
Y'all sure that this is real though, man? Cause hold on, I had somebody send me this, and I, if I play it, I played it, but I wish I could have listened to this. That don't sound like Diddy to me. This sound fake.
You recycle the plastic like we talked about.
Yeah, nah. So hold on. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. Yeah, I that don't sound real to me. That don't sound real to me. I really don't want to even play the whole thing. That didn't sound real, and there's no other, there's no credible. How would they even get a jail call from Diddy? They did have some of R. Kelly's calls though. All right, Big Meech. So y'all know Big Meech was released from jail, right? And it's been a lot of discussion about Big Meech being released from jail. Things that I found out that I heard about, but I didn't know if it was rumor or not. Where is it at? Where Big Meech at? He got to be on my page somewhere. Big Meech. All right, so Big Meech is out of jail. A lot of people are celebrating the fact that Big Meech is out. A lot of people are, ecstatic. Big Meech was definitely considered a legend within the streets for the amount of drugs that he was selling per day, the amount of money that they made, his impact on people within the like music industry, such as Jeezy and others, Fabulous. He kind of ran a drug empire unseen by, let's just say, people, especially from the black community, since like people like Rick Ross. His name, the amount of drugs that he was allegedly was said to have been distributing was on the level of like what we seen of Frank Lucas and Freeway Rick Ross and people like that. Now, the whole entire time, people have been celebrating Big Meech and saying, like, Big Meech went down, he did his time, and he didn't tell. But we have had this conversation going on online from Whack 100, of all people, on Clubhouse. And Whack 100 has a group on Clubhouse that he calls the Exposers. And according to Whack 100, as well as Blue Da Vinci, they're claiming that Meech actually tried to set up an individual who was actually associated with him. And he allegedly did this through a third party. So let's kind of play Let's kind of play what's going on, what's being said.
Your small business has
Damn, that was loud.
Big Meech only been home.
Own run-ins with the
Cuffy, which been common.
Originally, now.
Girl, that's a fact. Hold on. Wag.
She hit that 1,000. Appreciate everybody hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, comments.
So let's break this down.
Yeah. Let's talk about
this. Been a BMF day one. That was Blue Da Vinci.
What?
Let's start with that. That's what I'm saying. She
start there,
bro. With her
hold on. Wag, is you?
Hold on. I'm gonna just go to Death of the Cloud Chasers page because that's whose video that is. Because they cutting out the cut. We don't need the cuss words cut out over here. We cuss on my page. Yeah, we cuss over here. So let me see. I know Chuck got it up somewhere. And shout out to Chuck, man. Chuck a cool dude. Let's see. So tell Rallo. Back on 100 responds again to Meech. Okay. This will be a good one right here.
Yo, what's the word? So we got this whole situation. I talked to Whack One. I think it's definitely the cloud chasing.
Me shit. So Mickey True, bro, she came out and said that on the transcript, when they asking it, the prosecutors about if Big Meech knew anything about this third party agreement and shit, they say no. You know what I'm saying? They said no, bro. That's what Mickey Troop said.
Yo, listen, Mickey Troop is a fact that don't understand the streets. So let's break this down.
Yeah. Let's talk about
this. Been a BMF day one. That was Blue Da Vinci.
What?
Let's start with that. That's what I'm saying. She
start
there, bro, with her big ass glasses, like she know
what?
Bitch ain't in
Hold on. Waggy, where you
that
get
was
this
Blue Da Vinci.
Like,
part of the reason why Blue Da Vinci really salty with me. He just won't say that. It was his bitch. That was his brawl.
Yeah, Tammy was his girl. That's a fact. That's a fact. Tammy was his girl.
So this let you know this establishes how long she been in the circle of BMF. All right. Now, whenever the bitch went bad, we don't know when the bitch went bad. But we do know she went bad. Now, let's do the math. Originally, who had the life rights to BMF? And Meech. Who had Meech's life rights originally?
Cuffy.
Cuffy. Okay.
He had it for 2 years.
Okay. Now, all of a sudden, the word that come to him about a move that need to be made. The word go through Tammy, from Meech, Tammy to him. He make the move. He get wrapped up on it.
he really don't know what's going on until the paperwork hit, until motherfuckers is taking a stand. Now, you can say what you want to say, right? But if
Yeah.
your bitch who been a part of this thing come to me to make a move, and then it turns out to be a federal sting, right? And now all of a sudden the life rights you did transferred to the bitch that you seen take the stand. Let me slow down.
Yeah,
Big
slow down
Meech,
for just a
Big
second. Slow down for just a
Big
second.
Meech,
So, go
Big
ahead.
Meech, the leader of BMF, transfers his life rights to Tammy after his mans get lined up by Tammy, and he sees and knows she's a federal confidential informant. Let me slow it down a little more.
So
Tammy,
look,
Big Meech
Tammy,
bitch,
Tammy.
sends the message to Cuffy on the play. Cuffy get caught up in the play.
But Wack, you forgot though, they was actually after the Mexican. She was
Hold
after
on,
the Mexican.
hold
She
on.
was after the Mexican first.
Listen. It don't matter. Tammy put Cuffy with the Mexican by means of this nigga. You got to remember, Meech money didn't triple the way it did until he got up under Cuffy.
But I
Everybody tell
gotta
you that.
say this though, Wack. I gotta say this. I gotta
Everybody
add
tell
this
you
to the
that.
conversation though. So what you said that could be true, right?
Ain't no
But
could be
that
because right
listen,
now today, 50 Cent before Meech got out had to do the deal with who?
Tammy.
Did he have to do it with Meech's son? With Meech's baby
Mm-mm.
mama? With Meech's brother? With
Mm-mm.
Meech's mama, daddy, sister? Who did Meech get a life rights to?
Tammy
A bitch he knew that did what?
cooperated.
And you saying he don't know
That
what?
wasn't the first time she cooperated.
Hey, it don't matter. He knew that time. And what did
Yeah.
he do?
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, nigga, I don't know where y'all come from.
You know what, bro? You
Yeah,
know what?
nigga,
Hold on.
yeah,
Don't say y'all. Don't say
yeah.
y'all.
But
But I
Chuck,
gotta, you know
did
what
I
I'm
break
saying?
it down?
I gotta talk my shit. You hear me?
Now watch this. When he paroled, did he parole to Tammy or did he parole to Lil Meech mama? Uh-oh.
Me's mama.
Well, what the fuck? Then why she ain't had a life rights? Huh?
She must got something on him.
No. The bitch was working with that third party, nigga. Nigga, yeah. That's the
To
bitch.
get that, huh?
Yeah,
But
there you
they
go.
say, but look, listen, they say
You
because
give
she
that type
fucked
of
the,
shit to the people that's
but
gonna
Wack,
benefit you the most. Why
even
did Lil
though,
Meech mama, whose son starred in the shit, have the life rights?
that's true. But look, say like for example though, I don't understand this. Well, I do understand. I just want you to play it out for him, right? But you know what I'm saying? Basically, she got the life rights. You know what I'm saying? And say
No,
he
no, no,
knew this
no. Who gave
information.
them to her?
Meech.
Oh, okay, there we go. Where Meech parole from?
Be healthy, stay healthy with Buckeye Medical.
All right. So let me give y'all a little background on what's being said. Let me see.
Each. You know.
Let me see if I can give y'all a little better background on what's being said. So it's being alleged that Big Meech actually set up one of his own people by way of a third party, basically third party snitching. That's what WAC 100 is claiming. Not only is he claiming that, but Blue Da Vinci is also claiming that. Blue Da Vinci is somebody that was a part of BMF at one point in time. All right, let me see, and we can play that. Him and then the individual who actually got set up actually talked on Cam Capone News. Let's see, was it this one? Let me go to Cam Capone. And then we're going to read this paperwork, and I'm going to tell y'all what I think. Let me see. I don't know if this is the one or not. Videos. Where is it at? Nah, it's a shorter one. These boys be putting. Oh, here we go.
Around them, people still gonna want him around. You know what I'm saying? So that shit ain't gonna change. He's still gonna be able to get his money. We in a new day and age, homie. People don't give a fuck about that shit no more. And it is.
It's supposed to be getting out real soon.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on that? I think either this year or next year for sure.
Right. Either the end of this year or something, or beginning of next year. Shit, he need to get out. Been in jail forever. He did his 30 damn near. Right? He did what?
Normal person.
Who said he gonna be more of a normal person? Dude, he got to be Big Me. He want to have all the money, the cars, the jury. He want it all. He gonna get to some money. Ain't gonna stop him from doing that. I don't got what I heard through the grapevine. You know what I'm saying? Is Diop blessed Cuz with a home from that set, West Boulevard. So that's where Cuz supposed to be from. I mean, I ain't all you plethora that has something to say about Blue or standing behind the that has something to say about Blue. You too. Like, where you at? I don't know, bro. You know how.
This ain't the video. Where's it? I done watched a couple of them, man. It ain't been that far back. Damn, y'all. Bear with me. Give me 1 second, man. I'm gonna find it. It's on this though. I know it's on this one for sure. I'm gonna just have to go through the whole thing. Damn, I have to read the transcripts. How can I search the transcripts though? You can search. I should be able to search it. Cause at some point he pull out his phone. Music I met. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. East Coast people. Ellie Hood chasing. Let me see, man. Damn. Here we go, right here. Damn, all right, my fault, y'all.
In, and this is him calling on paperwork situation. Puffy right here, man, St. Louis legend. You know what I'm saying? And I know people heard me speak about Meech's paperwork situation with the last interview that we had, and a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say. They don't believe it, Blue's hating. You know what I'm saying? And when I went back and I looked at everything, I was like, you know what, bro? It's only right and only one way to really do it. Only one way to really do it and just let Dog speak for itself. So I wanted him to call in, and this is him calling in during the interview. Go ahead, Cuff, man. You can introduce yourself and take the flow.
Blue, my nigga, what's up, man?
Yes, sir.
Hey, you know, a lot of people, man, is thinking that this thing is made up or this thing is fake or that I have an accident.
Now, the person on the phone is the individual that Big Meech allegedly set up.
Grind, you feel me?
Right.
But I'm in here with a 27-year sentence based on Demetrius Flannery, as you all know as Big Meech, and Tammy Cowens, known in the paperwork as CS1.
Right.
Confidential source 1. So what Big Meech did was call a third-party cooperation. So Tammy Cowens signed up to be a DEA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut, plain and simple.
Right. So
okay, so can you break down the story? Like, how do you know this? And how'd you come upon this information?
How do you know? How do you came upon this information, though?
We were rewarded what's called a Franks hearing. It's based on a case called U.S. versus Frank. So I would implore your listeners to look the case up. And what a Franks hearing entails is that you're able to cross-examine your accusers, meaning government agents, meaning informants, and so on and so forth, just like a regular trial. So this was testified in court.
Period. Point blank.
This was testified in court. that I became a government informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut.
That's what was said on the stand, bro. The lady became a government informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut. But I think people would ask a question of this though. This is what I got hit with a lot is, all right, then if he did it to get a time cut, then how come he still did all that time in jail?
Well, what they don't understand is that he never received the time cut because what came out was that she had an illicit sexual relationship with Special Agent Keith Cromer.
Wow. So the lady Tammy Cowens, right? She was fucking Meech. That was Meech's bride, as Wack said. Wack wasn't lying about that part. I ain't saying Wack lying about anything. I just got a different of opinion of what's in the paperwork and who told on who. She was Ashley, the CS2 or Tammy Cowens. She actually was with Blue Da Vinci first. She was his woman first. I just want to put that out there. So during the course of the time when she was allegedly supposed to have been working for the DEA in this case that got Cuffy, the person on the phone, locked up, they're claiming that Meech didn't get a time break of it because she actually was in a relationship with her handler, the DEA agent who was like basically over handling her as a witness. They were sleeping together. But let's keep going.
Special Agent Keith Cromer.
But her first DA handler was the guy, as you should know, Blue, who wrote the BMF indictment, Special Agent Jack Harvey.
Special Agent Jack Harvey is the person that locked us all up. He was also the person that locked up Terry White, which was her first case as a DEA agent. And then he retired. He retired after he got them 60 years.
Yeah, he retired, and then her handler became a brother by the name of Keith Cromer, Special Agent Keith Cromer, who was also fired behind this particular case. So Meech never received the time cut because unbeknownst to a lot of people, it's against the law to have a sexual relationship or any personal relationship with a government informant.
Somehow, some way, because I don't know how, she met Special Agent Jack Harvey. You could leave that up to question. How did Big Meech's personal assistant / the person that handles all this business / the person that owns BMF Entertainment to this day since 2008?
Special Agent Jack Harvey. She put her with Harvey.
So now she meets Special Agent Jack Harvey, and then she starts working for Special Agent Jack Harvey, but not for the Meech case. It was for a whole nother case first. It was for Terry White. But once that case went well, okay, and once that went past and Terry White got his 30 years, Special Agent Jack Harvey retired. But now she was ready to go do the case for Meech and help get Meech his time cut.
On top of, and I want to say this to y'all, she was actually getting paid. Like, she wasn't working and just snitching. She was actually on payroll. They were actually paying her for her information. Now, the DEA agent who they talked about by the name of Keith Cromer, he actually was under investigation for spending millions of tax dollars to pay informants for snitch work. I mean, I can pull that up real quick. Like, you know, I do my thing. I don't play around over here. Let's see. All right, here go one of the articles right here with him in it, where he spent millions of FBI dollars to pay snitches for their work or whatever. This didn't even have nothing to do with just her. You know what I mean? As well as he allowed many of the informants to commit crimes between 2011 and 2014. So not only was these individuals working for him, he also was allowing them to commit crimes while they were working for him and not go to jail. They said the Fed spent like $548 million of taxpayers' money to pay off informants working for the FBI, DEA, and ATF between 2011 and in 2018. He just happened to be a part of doing that. You know what I mean? That's the FBI as a whole. She was actually getting paid during that time. You know, and here goes some other information, you know what I mean, that's relevant to what we're talking about. You know, just so y'all know, like Blue Da Vinci, you know, he may say a lot of stuff, but he's keeping it real. DEA, damn, let me go back. They want money. Let me see about this one. Oh, that's the one we just clicked on. Look, rolling out. Here we go. We should be cool with this one. DEA supervisor had relationship with Black Mafia family informant. And it goes to talk about what we were just talking about. You know what I mean? An Atlanta DA office and its dealings with the infamous Black Mafia family. The criminal organization was taken down over the past 2 years, and members of law enforcement have been implicated in aiding a criminal enterprise that included distribution of cocaine, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. It talks about the paid sources. It says, according to a letter written by Grassley, the acting DA administrator, Cromer engaged in, let me lighten that up for y'all. Cromer engaged in a sexual relationship with 2 confidential sources and paid one of the sources a total of $212,000 despite never entering a written agreement with the source. The source started receiving payments in 2011, including bonuses of $55,000 and $80,000 and a monthly payment of $2,500, but claims that she does not know why she received the bonus payments. So it goes into that, man. It talks about wiretaps and all kind of stuff. Here it go though. Now this is about this has to do with the case that they saying that Big Meech told on. I got too small, y'all. The DEA office has been conducting an internal investigation of the allegations in the midst of a drug trial of 4 defendants in St. Louis who are challenging evidence given by the informant in their case. The defendants are allegedly connected to the notorious Black Mafia family drug ring. They claim that they worked with the informant several years ago, but not in recent times. However, the woman gave DEA information that allowed wiretaps, surveillance warrants to be obtained, which led to their arrest. The men claim that there is no way the woman knew of any recent activity that were used as part of their arrest and the trial. The DA supervisor denies that he had a sexual relationship with the woman, but has allegedly stated that they did have a personal relationship with the informant. Cromer claims that he turned to the woman referred to in court documents as CS1. Now, CS1 is Tammy Cowens. It says that in court documents as CS1 after his son died from leukemia therapy, and basically he began to, talk to her. He said that they actually had been to dinner. They were in the same theater to see the Three Stooges movie and had been on 2 vacations. Him and Tammy Cowan, a.k.a. Big Meech's woman, who turned into a rat, went on vacation together and stayed in separate rooms and were never intimate. Okay. It also says he asserted his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination during the trial of the 4 men accused. At the issue now is whether the trial can go forward based on information that was obtained by the DEA agent CS1. So basically, when they find out that she's dealing with this Keith Cromer, that's when they begin to say, well, like, you know what? Whatever deal was on the table is off. Now, why she was working for the feds, what happened, nobody knows. Who knows? Maybe she was offered money from the beginning, and that's why she started dealing with him. Why can't I press play? Okay.
So now when Meech came up, it was a new person that came on, and his name was what's his name again, big homie?
Special Agent Keith Cromer.
Special Agent Keith Cromer is the new special agent after Jack Harvey retired. Now he's her handler, and they engulfed in a personal relationship, sexual, however they called it in the court. And through that relationship, it tainted the case, and it was dishonorable at that point. They had to throw that out. That's why Meech didn't get out. So now you pose the question of why is my big homie Cuff still in jail? And go ahead, Cuff. You can let him know why. How that happened.
From that conspiracy, they indicted me on 2 murder charges. Subsequently, I pled guilty to 2 gun charges in exchange for them dropping the murder charges.
Now, how did they, hold on, let me ask this for you. Right quick. How did they get you on something that was totally different from the case that Meech and them was had you in a wiretap for?
Out of a totally different, nothing to do with the drug conspiracy, but they falsely accused it as being a part of the drug conspiracy. And then they brought about the gun charges as using the gun charges in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime.
This call is from a federal prison.
Okay, and did they hit you with a superseding indictment or just?
They superseded me.
So they came out of that case that y'all was in court for and hit you with a whole brand new case that had nothing to do with that at all.
Didn't have nothing to do. Yeah, it still had something to do with that. They still let the drug conspiracy stand between Tammy Collins and myself.
Oh.
And she started. That's the only way that they can continue to have jurisdiction. They had to leave the drug charges there.
Oh, see, I thought that they said, all right, well, this case is over, but we
pick up murder charges or gun charges unless it's tied to something. If it's not tied to anything, then the government don't have jurisdiction. So a carjacking has to be tied to something to have a gun charge of using a 924C.
So essentially what I believe that Cuffy is saying is like to keep it a federal charge, they had to tie like the murders or the gun charges to the conspiracy case, the drug trafficking, in order for it to remain in a federal court. Other than that, it would have had to get kicked back. It would have had to end up being, he would have had to get an indictment from like the state in order for, for him to be charged for those things. But in order for the feds to charge him with it, they had to use the actual quote unquote conspiracy to commit trafficking that basically he's assuming or saying that Meech was a part of by way of Tammy Cowan, right? All right, so I think we heard enough of that, because what I want really like, what I would like to do is, I want to go to the paperwork. And this is the paperwork. So as you can see, this is his name. This is United States of America. His name, he's Dion Lamont Gatlin, aka Cuffy, right? We just gonna deal with him. I don't know the other individuals, and I don't believe that they had anything to do with the case, right? All right, so it says that let me see, the facts that form basically this case from authorized wiretaps were set out in the affidavit. It says that the affidavit asserted that on August 5th, 2012, a confidential source being utilized by the DEA Atlanta CS1 alerted DEA agents to a suspected drug transaction occurring in St. Louis between suspected source of supply, and his name was Fidel Suarez. Now, Fidel Suarez, this individual was actually locked up with Big Meech. This is somebody who Big Meech knew from being in jail. They had conversations with each other, right? But basically, it was supposed to be a suspected drug transaction occurring between Fidel Suarez and the defendant Dion Gatlin, a.k.a. Cuffy, a.k.a. the person who was alleging that Big Meech told on him. Now, it says specifically, the CS1 advised DA agents that he or she, which we're going to say she because we know who it is, was contacted by Suarez, who said he had a truck in St. Louis for the suspected narcotics transaction with Cuffy, aka Gatlin. It says Suarez was having trouble reaching Gatlin and asked CS1 or Tammy Cowan, aka Big Meech's girl, for help in attempting to help Suarez get in contact with Gatlin. It says that Tammy Cowan, aka CS1 in this paperwork, had a flurry of calls with Gatlin and Suarez. CS1 was ultimately successful with connecting Suarez and Gatlin together, who were using the phone that became the target of the wiretap. It also says the second affidavit asserted facts relating to both CS1's reliability as an informant and measures the DEA St. Louis investigators took to corroborate information provided by CS1. As to CS1's reliability, to the affidavit attests that CS1 was cooperating with the DEA for monetary gain, meaning she was being paid to actually be an informant. And it had been shown to provide reliable information to the DEA regarding a multitude of felonious activity and had provided information that resulted in the arrest of at least one individual and the seizure of drugs and U.S. currency. And we're going to go down. Let me see. The third affidavit asserted a suspected drug conspiracy. Okay, all right, so here we go. The third affidavit, and Meech was actually in this case, though. As like his name isn't here. Oh. Excuse me. Damn, cuz. The third affidavit asserted facts related to a suspected drug distribution conspiracy between Demetrius Flannery, a.k.a. Big Meech, Dion Gatlin, a.k.a. Cuffy, and the Mexican Fidel Suarez. More specifically, the affidavit asserted that Big Meech was the purported national leader of the Black Mafia family, BMF, drug trafficking organization, and had been sentenced to 30 years imprisonment for drug trafficking activities. The affidavit further asserted that based on information previously known to DEA St. Louis, that Cuffy, aka Dion Gatlin, was a member of the St. Louis BMF, was an associate of Meech, and had substantial ties to multiple BMF members. I'm gonna start saying the street names that we know instead of saying their last names and all of that. That way we can just keep going. I'm gonna stop calling her CS1 and we're gonna call her Tammy or Tammy Cowens. We know who she is. She's Big Meech's girl. All right. It says substantial ties to BMF members had been indicted in the Eastern District of Missouri on drug trafficking charges and sentenced to 120 months incarceration for drug trafficking. The affidavit asserted that based on information from Tammy Cowens and an independent investigator by the DEA St. Louis agents, Suarez owned and operated a trucking company in California and had been investigated and or arrested without conviction for suspected drug trafficking back in 2005 and 2009. In addition, an independent investigation by the DEA St. Louis agents revealed that two large quantity drug seizures from a truck operated by Suarez's trucking company happened. It says, finally, the affidavit attested that based on information Tammy Cowens provided to the DEA agents in Atlanta, that Big Meech and Suarez became associated with each other while incarcerated, and for monetary gain, Big Meech arranged through Tammy Suarez Big Meech arranged through Tammy Cowan for Suarez to provide cocaine in multiple kilogram quantities to Cuffy. The fourth affidavit asserted facts relating to the contacts between Tammy Cowan, Cuffy, and Suarez in the year leading up to the events of August 5th, 2012. Specifically, the affidavit asserted that toll analysis of devices used by Suarez and Cuffy indicated they had been talking regularly since March of 2012. Now, something is interesting in here. Now, I just want y'all to see this part. First and foremost, we see that she was being paid for her cooperation. Secondly, it says that Tammy Cowan provided to the DEA Atlanta agents that Meech and Suarez became acquainted while they were locked up, and for money or monetary gain, Big Meech arranged for Tammy. So basically, Big Meech was like, hey, I got this plug, this Mexican that I was locked up with. He got that work. What I need you to do is hook him up with Cuffy. He got to work, sending the Cuffy. I'm going to get mine off the back end. They're going to pay me. So basically, Big Meech was in there trying to, like, according to this paperwork, he was trying to still pull moves and make money through people who he connected with while he was locked up. In this portion of the paperwork, it doesn't say that Big Meech informed Terry Cowan about who Suarez was and hook him up with Cuffy so that way you can get this information to the feds and then they can give me some time off. It doesn't say that. It just says that Meech was basically trying to sell some dope. All right. Anyway, it says, fourth, the affidavit asserts facts relating to contacts between Tammy Cowan, Cuffy, and Suarez in the year. Okay, I already read that part. March 2012. All right, it says in Cuffy began using the Target phone in February 2012. Okay, so they got at this point they got wiretaps. The phones is bugged up. It says the affidavit also asserted CS1 Tammy Flannery had contact with Suarez and Cuffy and was aware that Suarez had been in contact with Cuffy and traveled to St. Louis prior to August 2012, but it says Tammy was not involved in any of the drug transactions directly with Suarez or Cuffy, and Tammy did not participate in any earlier conversations between Suarez and Cuffy. Thus, Tammy could not relay the content of those earlier discussions. All she did basically was at this point, they're saying that she actually gave them the phone numbers or somehow, because her phone was tapped. So by her calling their phones, now we know Cuffy's phone number and we know Suarez's phone number. Now we're going to tap those phones. Now it says, according to the affidavit, Tammy advised investigators of a trip Suarez took to St. Louis in July 2012. Suarez's presence in St. Louis in July 2012 was corroborated by an investigation of Suarez on July 23rd, 2012, independent of this case, in which DEA agents in St. Louis were surveilled and questioned Suarez for suspicious conduct described in the affidavit. Now it says the fifth affidavit attests that a wiretap was necessary. Specifically, the affidavit described various investigative tools that have been considered and or used in the investigation to date, including physical surveillance, use of confidential informants, undercover officers, pen registers, telephone toll records analysis, witness interviews, search warrants, and trash pulls, interviews with target witnesses, and use of grand jury proceedings, review of police records, use of electronic surveillance, cellular location data, tracking devices, and prior Title III intercepts. It also says the affidavit recited in detail investigative tools used in the investigation and why each tool had not been successful or was unlikely to be successful. All right, so let's go. We got the telephone. We got all the affidavit stuff out the way. Target 1, which Target 1 is Cuffy. Found probable cause, believe, blah, blah, blah. We ain't gonna read all of it, but I'm gonna get to the part that we really need the documents in the court docket case. Former retained CS1 via email had contacted one of his associates, claiming, among other things, the wiretap was factually inaccurate. All right, this is them like Keith Cromer. This is them just talking about like they're fighting basically how did they get it. They're citing other cases and stuff. They filed that Frank's hearing. Evidence presented. And they talk about at the evidentiary hearing that United States presented the testimony of 6 witnesses and documentary evidence regarding the veracity of the statements in the affidavit. It kind of goes on to like how Tammy Cowan testified about the 8 events of August 5th, 2012, and about the relationship between her, Big Meech, Cuffy, and the Mexican, right? The officers, they actually testified about how, Tammy became a confidential source for the DEA. It talks about Tammy's role while Agent Harvey was the controlling agent for her. So I'm trying to get down to the spot where it gets into she gets more into detail when her testimony is on here. All right. Here we go. Let me see. Agent Murphy, who testified. All right, let's get into her shit. All right, it says Tammy Collins first became a confidential informant for the DEA. And keep in mind, Tammy Collins is Big Meech's girl. Blue Da Vinci's ex-girl. She first became a confidential informant for DEA Atlanta in 2009 when he or she, which is she, provided information in a money laundering case which resulted in a successful prosecution and conviction of an individual named Terry White, which we heard that earlier. She was not initially paid at that particular time, but she ended up getting a percentage of the value of the property that was forfeited from White, which is crazy. We cool on that. Let me see. So she ended up being paid monthly. Now, according to California-based Mexican known for drug trafficking sometime before. All right, they talking about her having a sexual relationship with Cromer. All right, here we go. So CS1 or Tammy Cowan became a DEA informant. Tammy was and had been a longtime friend and associate of Big Meech. Specifically, Tammy held Big Meech's power of attorney and his life rights with creative control. Now, as we know, they're already saying that she had to be the one to sign the paperwork or whatever to give 50 permission to do the BMF series that's on right now because it's based on his life. You know what I mean? It says that the right to tell and presumably sell Flannery's life story for profit. Those rights by Tammy Cowan estimation would be worth about $1 million. Both Agent Harvey and Agent Cromer were aware that Tammy Cowan had a relationship with Big Meech. Tammy testified that Big Meech was very well known and it was not all unusual for Tammy to receive calls from total strangers asking about Big Meech. It was due to Tammy's relationship with Big Meech that Tammy first came into contact with both Fidel Suarez as well as Cuffy. Now it says in September 2011, Big Meech requested Tammy's help coordinating a delivery of a load of cocaine to be controlled by Suarez, who at that point was already in contact with Tammy. Now it says Tammy credibly testified that she first met Suarez by phone when Suarez contacted Tammy to ask how Big Meech was doing. Big Meech confirmed that he and Suarez were friends and that they had met in the county jail in Michigan. Although Tammy did not meet Suarez in person, she spoke with Suarez by phone and text additionally. Suarez sent Tammy a picture of himself. Sometime in 2012, Suarez asked Tammy if she knew someone that might be willing to buy pills. Now, according to Tammy, she was in a car with Agent Keith Cromer at the time during the first narcotic-related conversation with Suarez. Now, Agent Keith Cromer overheard the conversation and signaled Tammy to say yes, that she knew somebody that wanted pills. Tammy was later contacted by an agent in California regarding Suarez. Now, as Suarez and Cuffy first contacted. Now it's with Suarez. Cuffy first contacted Tammy to see how Big Meech was doing in jail. Based on the discussion with both Cuffy as well as Big Meech, Tammy understood that Cuffy and Big Meech were friends. Initially, Tammy's relationship with Cuffy was more of a business relationship and communication centered around Big Meech's life rights. However, at some point, Big Meech asked Tammy to connect Gatlin or Cuffy with Suarez, and a relationship between Tammy and Cuffy and Suarez turned into narcotics. Now it says 2 telephone toll records reflect that Suarez as well as Cuffy were in contact with each other on various devices from the early March 2012 through August 2012. This relationship didn't last long at all. Although phone toll records show that during the same time period, Suarez was less frequency. Cuffy was in contact with Tammy. There is no evidence that suggested that Tammy participated in any of the early phone conversations between Suarez and Cuffy. And in 2002 in July, Suarez invited Tammy to join them on a trip to St. Louis without stating why he was going to St. Louis, but Tammy declined. Now let's get down into it, because they're gonna talk about Big Meech's knowledge of what's going on. Now, in the evidentiary hearing, Tammy denied that Big Meech had any involvement in any drug activities between Suarez and Cuffy, and denied that Tammy ever informed DEA agents that Big Meech was involved. Tammy also denied that she never informed DEA agents that Big Meech directed her to connect Gatlin or Cuffy with Suarez. However, this aspect of Tammy's testimony is not credible for at least 3 reasons. First, Tammy's testimony conflicts with the testimony of TFO Lang, the DA's St. Louis agent who interviewed Tammy about the events of August 5th. TFO Lang's credibility testified that during the debrief of Tammy on August 6th of 2012, Tammy told him that she had facilitated the introduction of Gatlin, aka Cuffy, and Suarez at Big Meech's request. Second, Tammy's testimony also conflicts with the 2011 interview notes of a DA agent in Atlanta. Let me see. Regarding Big Meech's involvement in suspected drug conspiracy, finally, evidence presented to the hearing demonstrated that Tammy faced actual and perceived threats when the court filings in this particular case revealed her identity, specifically on 2015 in February, when all of the defendants in the case filed pretrial motions, including separate motions to suppress the wiretap evidence and all of that. Now, if we go down and we look further, first and foremost, her testimony here is Big Meech never told her nothing, even though we knew that was a lie. And she had told another DA agent, like, yeah, the way that I hooked them up was basically through Big Meech. Okay, cool. Then they file these motions. They find out who she is. They threatening her ass, right? Now, it also says that, let me see, a magistrate during several hours in Louisiana soon after learning the court filings to see Flannery. Okay, so she tried to go see Big Meech. So it says that she panicked and took several measures to try to protect herself. Those measures including contacting the undersigned magistrate judge whose chambers referred Tammy to the U.S. State's attorney, and driving several hours to Louisiana soon after learning about the court filings to attempt to see Big Meech to try to explain her position and try to deflect any accusations coming her way. Although it appears that Tammy did not speak with Big Meech in Louisiana on March 6th, Tammy's hearing testimony suggests that when she finally did speak with Big Meech, he advised her he didn't want his name caught up in this mess. In addition to Tammy's perception that she was in danger because of the revelations, Agent Davidson credibility testified that Tammy faced actual threats in the weeks and months following the court filings in March 2005, through the time of the Franks hearing. I think that's kind of it. Let me see. It does say that Tammy also threatened to circulate the unsworn affidavit to all parties involved, including unsigned or undersigned, some undersigned shit. It says that relay information, Gatlin's former counselor, prosecutors. All right, it says that Tammy's unsworn affidavit specifically takes issue with statements in the wiretap affidavit suggesting that Big Meech hooked up the deal between Cuffy and Suarez. The unsworn affidavit suggests that Agent Cromer implicated Big Meech because he was jealous of Big Meech's relationship with Tammy. So it's a bunch of shit going on here. Let me see if there's anything else important that we want to get to. It says the backdrop of the actual perceived threats to Tammy diminishes the credibility of Tammy's testimony, and instead very, very strongly suggests that perhaps due to Tammy's personal and business relationship, as well as out of concern for her safety and the safety of Big Meech, Tammy had an inceptive attempt to distance Big Meech from Suarez and Cuffy. So, when I read this, and I can keep reading it, I've read it, and I've read it. Like, nowhere in the actual paperwork do I ever see where Big Meech actually said, hey, I want to set up these people, and in return, I should get some time off for that. I really don't. I don't see that information at all. So I believe that people who are saying Big Meech told, right, that she really on the rights. She has the rights. Yeah, she does have the rights to the paperwork or whatever. I mean, not the paperwork, the life rights. She has that. She was involved in the deal that was struck between Big Meech and 50 Cent. So for me to say that Big Meech is a rat, for me to say that he told, I would actually have to see paperwork. I would actually have to see paperwork showing that he actually told on somebody. Y'all can go read that paperwork. All you got to do is put Tammy Cowan CS1 in Google and it'll pop up, man. Y'all go read it yourself, man, because it's a lot that I didn't read. I just want to get to the parts where Big Meech's name was actually mentioned. And nowhere in there does it say that Big Meech was cooperating along with or alongside of Tammy Cowan. It doesn't say that she was working for the people because she was trying to get Big Meech off. Some people are suggesting that. Some people are saying that she was working with the people trying to get Big Meech out of jail. I don't know how true that is, and I can't say that it's true because I don't see that actually in paperwork, right? Y'all gonna have to be the guess of that. There's a lot of people that told. There's a lot of people in the game that did tell. I'm not saying that Big Meech wasn't a third party cooperating or nothing like that. I'm not saying that Whack 100 is wrong. I'm not saying that he's right. I'm just using my own mind, and I'm saying that I can't say it myself. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm not going against anything that anyone else is saying. It's just not in the paperwork. It's just not in the paperwork. I don't know what kind of yard that Meech was on, but if this paperwork would have hit a yard, I'm pretty sure those people would have went over it and, had that discussion with him, and maybe they said the same thing. And I'm saying we can't say that he did nothing and his name ain't in here. What it looks like to me is, on the outside looking in, it's like Meech was basically trying to set up a deal so he can make some money while he in jail. Still trying to move some bricks or whatever. All right. With that being said, let me see. Where was that at? Gossip in the City. Cardi B, man. So Cardi B allegedly had, according to her, I want to say like the people called on her. Is it on Live Bits though? Let me see if it's on there first. Somebody called CPS on Cardi B, and they came to her house, and she seems to be pretty upset about it. It's always a lot of drama surrounding Cardi B. Is it on here? No, it ain't on here. She been on here every day too. That's crazy. But it's a lot of drama surrounding her. But let's check out what she had to say.
What is a CPS, Child Protective Services? For Child Protective Services to come to my fucking house, not my house, my gated mansion at 11 p.m. while my children are sleeping because there's an anonymous call that there's been going on that my kids have been getting abused and beaten. Are you fucking dumb? Are you fucking dumb? This is when the pranks start getting too far. When you fucking assholes think the shit is funny, and it's not funny. It's not funny. First of all, I'm the only colored person, and I'm the only person that is Latin, that is black people in my house.
All right, so for one, it looks like Cardi B is in a hospital bed, which I don't know what's going on with that. But for two, who would have made the call to CPS that actually knows where she stays at to send them to her house? Like, how many people got Cardi B's address?
That it's in the whole neighborhood. I'm sorry, I'm fucked up. We are the only colored people in my neighborhood completely. And for motherfuckers to pop up in my house with cops and Child Protective Services because you motherfuckers want to do an anonymous call involving my children? I promise you this. I promise you this. I promise you this. I'm going to sue Child Protective Services for fucking coming to my house at whatever the fuck time it comes. And I'm also going to sue the person that did this call. And as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm calling Drew Finley because I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Drew Finley.
I'm going to hire the best private investigator in the whole fucking country.
Cardi B got that one lawsuit off on Tasha K, and now all of a sudden she's the lawsuit queen. I just have I don't know, maybe I don't have money like that. I don't have money at all. So maybe that's my reason, and feeling how I feel about I don't know, man, a lawsuit is a little too much. I don't know. I possibly would be trying to find out who called CPS or whatever. I've heard of people getting CPS called on them before by an anonymous person, and they show up and check the cabinets, make sure the kids is cool, have a conversation with the family, make sure you ain't doing nothing crazy to the kids, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Let me see they live in area and stuff like that. But Cardi B has so much going on online that as much as people tried to make it out that she was so likable, right? And at one point in time, Nicki Minaj was supposed to be this unlikable person, which I think people still kind of feel the same way with Nicki because she's constantly getting into it with other female artists, and she has, she's giving people the perception that she wants to be seen still as the dominant female in rap, and anybody that's proclaiming to be as such, or anybody that's being perceived to be the next person or taking her spot, she attacks them in a way that, you know, a lot of people don't like. But for people to be calling CPS on Cardi and for Cardi to have so much drama and speak about so much stuff that's going on with her all the time, it's constantly. You know, not it ain't all about Offset. It's a lot of other stuff that goes on with her. I don't think she's as likable as media tried to portray her maybe a few years ago. I think that was more so marketing for the record companies. And now that she's not as, I ain't gonna say relevant, because she's still relevant, but her relevance in music isn't what it once was. She's still a big name. I believe she's still like the number 2. I believe Nicki is the number 1. She's definitely like number 2. And then you got like Lotto and Glorilla 3rd and 4th right now. Sexy Red, that's probably like the top 5 female artists, rappers right now as far as relevancy. She's definitely still number 2, but I don't think she's being promoted as being super likable no more. Especially when people call her CPS and everybody fucking your baby daddy. I'm just saying.
Because y'all take joking and y'all take shit a little too far. Don't you ever in your fucking life play with my fucking kids. Don't you ever in your fucking life play with my motherhood or with my ex-husband fatherhood. We don't play.
Did they get a divorce already? Like my ex-husband, ain't they still married? Like it's kind of like soon for her to be calling him the ex-husband when they didn't get a divorce. I think they might have filed or claimed they filing for a divorce or something like that. But y'all still married. Like,
say that shit. My kids live great. My kids have never been touched, never gotten hit. No matter how annoying they are, I never hit my kids. Every weekend, my kids go to Fly Zone. Y'all want a prank call? Y'all want to do funny shit? Y'all want to give anonymous tips and involve my kids in it? Now you're gonna see the evil side of me, cause I'm not letting that shit fucking go. Y'all going to die. I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
so maybe she's high right now because now she's like, she went from talking about suing people. She was going to sue the person who did this. You know, she was going to sue CPS to now she wants to unalive people for calling CPS.
I'm not calling the cops on you. As soon as I know and retract that phone call, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. If you're a fucking man, my baby father is going to beat the shit out of you.
Sure.
Because you thought it was okay to mess with our fucking kids. Stop fucking playing.
Yeah, so there that was. Cardi B, CPS was called to her house. She goes on a crazy rant, threatens to unalive people and sue everybody. Boy, I'm gonna just leave that there, man. I really don't see too much else for me to say about this situation besides like it's a lot going on. Now, people in the comments would comment and say, but when a child is being malnourished and taken advantage of for years, they know where to be found. Somebody else would say it wasn't funny when it was Nicki. It's not funny when it's Cardi. Children used to be off limits. I don't know. I just brought Nicki up, so what I was about to say, I really can't say, but I'm gonna say it. Like, Nicki ain't got nothing to do with that. Somebody else said I work for CPS. She's wasting her time ranting to the internet. She got a snake in her circle. For CPS to show up at your door, that's late. That late, they were provided details that only someone close to you would know and be able to provide. I understand why she's pissed, but the call is coming from inside the house, so to speak, because they own other homes. How would whoever called, how would that person know that they were at that specific house when they showed up? Let me see. Somebody else said, I used to work for CPS, and you'd be surprised how many friends call in on homegirls just because of secret jealousy. I spent my whole Thanksgiving dealing with homegirls calling in, spreading lies over a baby daddy with two good TEF, whatever that means. Let me see. Somebody else said it's funny. It ain't funny. It's actually very deranged. They've been doing it to Nicki. Now they moved to Cardi. Celebrities should go back to literally hiding their personal lives and making it all just complete entertainment. Now, somebody in the chat just said, though, in my chat said, I just wish she would stay offline. And maybe that's what she needs to do. Maybe she needs to stay offline. Maybe she needs to stop reacting to everything. Maybe she should stop putting all of her info. I mean, I don't want her to. You know, I don't want her to. I don't want her to stop putting her business online, but maybe she should start, think about not putting so much of her business or private stuff online. Maybe that's the issue, bringing too much attention to herself on a drama, like in a drama way. You know what I mean? She been kicking it the last. I think her birthday was a couple of days ago. So she really been active on social media. She's been a lot more active on social media than anybody else. That Safari video was crazy. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. At the end of the day, man, it is what it is. Was it anything else that I should have touched on today? Because I got my list here, and I was going to talk about Kendrick Lamar, Charleston White, and Aiden Ross. So Charleston White and Aiden Ross. Let me see. Charlemagne issues a cease and desist to Donald Trump for using a clip of him out of context for a political ad. Oh, that's crazy. Let me see. Charleston White. Aiden Ross. Is this it? They had a stream together a couple of days ago where they talked. That's what I'm looking for. Where Charleston White talked about getting out of jail. Let me see. It ain't this one. I don't want the full stream. It was a part of the stream where he talked about the death rumors and how it hurt his feelings.
Say, what's up with it?
I thought you died.
I did. I came back to life. I got 9 lives like a cat. I come right back to life.
For real?
Yeah. I got 9 lives. And I resurrect on these niggas. They thought they had me down.
Why they say you got shot, Uncle?
Huh?
Why are they saying you got shot?
Man, I don't know, man. I was in a strip club with a titty in my mouth when they said that. I was sucking on the right titty with my left eye looking across the room.
Really?
This the good eye right here. Everybody think this the good eye. So I was sucking on the titty, looking that way. So I don't know where that shit come from. Say, what's up?
All right. That's not what I wanted. Let me see. I hate to go to the whole stream, man. Let me see.
A percentage of kick, yes. Fearbrook probably had that. Sorry, man. I don't.
No, man.
All right, so in this stream right here, Charleston White talks about how he was upset
I was on my feet. I asked this motherfucker
how he was upset about people laughing and saying that he died or whatever, which is surprising to me because of all the stuff that he says about people or whatnot. But I don't know why Aiden Ross is playing this shit right here. Let me fast forward. I'm trying to get past this. All right, here we go.
Yeah. I got 9 lives. And I resurrect on these niggas. They thought they had me down.
Why are they saying you got shot,
Huh?
Why are they saying you got shot?
Man, I don't know, man. I was in a strip club with a titty in my mouth when they said that. I was sucking on the right titty with my left eye looking across the room.
Really?
This the good eye right here. Everybody think this the good eye. So I was sucking on the titty, looking that way. So I don't know where that shit come from.
Well, did you? How was the strip club? It was fun.
Yeah. I'm finna go to Tootsie's right now, nigga.
Hey, I'll be back in Miami in a week. Let me tell you something right now. You and me, we're about to go crazy when I get back.
Man, listen, I want to tell you something. I swear to God, I didn't mace no motherfucking cat, man. I had a mace gun on, man. I swear, man. Even when you look at the video, so it was a water bottle, man, with the mace gun, man. I don't know why they trying to make it like I maced the cat, man. Shit.
So wait, why'd you go to jail then?
Because I got a medical marijuana card. Hold on. So when the guy attacked me in the barbershop, he hit me in the head with a gun. So I still got the mark right there. My wife was on the scene. So I thought the guy was going after my wife. I went to the car, got my gun, and they said I chased after the guy. So they gave me 2 ag assaults with a deadly weapon because him and that other guy busted into the barbershop with the gun. So y'all seen that on camera. In 2021, when I was just starting out going big on YouTube, my cousin, who's a precinct chair, his name is Jesse Taylor. He's an elected official. This is his and his daughter's cats. I sprayed water toward the cat. So 2021 this happened. They waited till 2023 to put me a charge on it. So I bonded out on the charge. The judge said because I got 3 charges, I'm on what they call bond conditions. And part of my bond conditions, I can't smoke pot. Can't smoke marijuana. Well, I went and seen a doctor. Some guys tried to rob me for my jewelry. Hit me in the head with an assault rifle. I didn't get my jewelry up. So ever since that robbery and attack at the barbershop, I've been dealing with anxiety problems from being a public figure. So I smoke weed to calm my nerve. The judge said I can't smoke weed. I went and seen a Texas medical marijuana doctor who gave me a prescription to smoke marijuana 4 times a day. They put my name in a database, but the judge said, fuck that. I don't want you smoking no weed. And because you smoke weed, I'm going to keep you in jail for the weekend. So I had a
Damn, that's fucked up.
Court date, October the 10th. I went to court, and because I had a dirty UA, the judge held me with an insufficient bond, so I had to stay in jail for the entire weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He let me out on Monday.
You missed my B-Day, Onk.
Damn. So basically, he went to jail for smoking weed. A lot of people thought he had caught a new case. So he went from going to jail. People think he caught a new case. He got out on that, right? Charleston be catching a lot of dubs out here. He be winning. On top of that, then they say he went to Chicago and got shot. That was a lie. Like, goddamn, all in the same week. He might need to go ahead and sit back for a little bit, though.
Man, I know I got you the nigga nation ring and everything. I was in there sad. Listen, I was literally in court with shackles on my feet. I asked this motherfucking white policeman, his name is Dancer. He's the bailiff. I said, Dancer, can I call Aiden Ross manager to let him know I'm going to jail, man? At least can I text him, man? I'm supposed to be at Aiden Ross birthday party. He said, I can't let you use your phone. Man, I was sad in the motherfucker. I couldn't call you and tell you I couldn't.
Whenever you're in jail or whenever you're in legal shit, hit me. I have the best lawyers. Let me help you.
I got your nephew. You ain't got to tell me that. I thought you were bullshitting last time. I believe you this time.
I swear I'll put up bond, bail, whatever you need me to do. I got you, bro. Yo,
okay,
I fuck with you, bro. You know I got, like, all shit aside, fuck this internet shit. Let me help you get out of jail quicker, bro. I probably could have got you out on the weekend.
Damn, man. You know, I'm going to be real with y'all. When I first start, like, hearing Charleston White speak and stuff, I used to kind of get upset by the stuff he was saying. But as time went on, like, it really don't bother me no more. Because I get it. It's the internet. And even though it's dangerous, I ain't gonna say it's dangerous because ain't nothing happened to him. But even though people don't necessarily, some people don't like the things that he do and the things that he says, it's actually been beneficial for him. in all honesty, it's actually been beneficial to him. I'm pretty sure his revenue has increased like 20, 30 times since he's became the Charleston White that he is today versus when he first started really going online and saying the stuff that he was saying. And at the end of the day, saying safe stuff, saying what everyone else says normally doesn't get you anywhere. It's the people who says the things that either you scared to say or you think that you shouldn't say who have found success in social media, on podcasts, on YouTube channels, on Instagram and things like that. Like, for instance, Whack 100. Now, I remember when Whack 100 was just on not Facebook, on Instagram. And he would make posts about certain stuff and everybody run over to like, damn, I can't believe Whack 100 said this. I got like a plethora of videos just about Whack 100 saying stuff on Instagram. Now at this point, not only has Whack 100 became more recognizable on social media, such as platforms like YouTube, but he's also been a constant guest on several different podcasts and platforms, as well as now he has a weekly show on No Jumper. I'm just saying, the people who say the shit that everybody wants them to say, oh, you shouldn't say that. Oh, why you talking about this person and that person? Why you saying about them? They dead and this and that. These motherfuckers are saying stuff about these people and they blowing up. Meanwhile, everybody else that's scared to say some of the stuff that they may agree with them and fake trying to have some type of morality are basically the bottom feeders, fighting over views with other people who are like them, who are just saying the things that we all say in our everyday life instead of just speaking how you feel, man, trying to fit in. But anyway, shout out to Charleston White, man. With that being said, I'm going to get up off of here, man. I gave y'all like a little over 3 hours, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. We had a nice, decent crowd tonight, man. Make sure you hit that like button before y'all get up out of here. I'll be back with another live stream shortly in the next day or so. But I definitely will be back. I appreciate everybody that's been tapping in, subscribing, following on the Instagram page. You know what I mean? I seen a few people did go over there and follow after last week I asked them to. Again, you know, go over there. I'm trying to get it up. Let's get over 4,000 followers over there on the Instagram page. All right. With that being said, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the rulers and the roulettes, man. Y'all already know what it is.